Oi, cheers, bro. Today we are all British. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods 97.3. I was literally in my car driving here this morning and just doing a British accent the entire drive, out loud by myself as I was listening to What's the Story, Morning Glory. Oasis is back together. It's the best day of my life. And I have 2 kids, so just remember that. Good morning.
So I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and you kind of gave us the rundown on what happened between the brothers.
Yeah.
When they're back together, is this I know right now it's just a European tour, probably going to expand, be a worldwide tour. Are they back together just doing one last tour?
Probably one last tour.
Are they going to make another album, more music?
I really don't know. I think the future is wide open. Let's get through one show. Let's get through one show, and then we can start talking about let's just start talking about the second show. That's how dire it's been, but it is official. The picture came out this morning, and I am very elated. I'm Woodsy, big Oasis fan, if you couldn't tell. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Benjamin, do you remember? We might have done this before. Do you either of you guys remember? Paul, you grew up with the internet, so I don't know if you really count. Do you remember the first thing you ever looked up on the internet? When somebody said, hey, there's an internet. And what is it? Well, you can find answers and information. All you have to do is go to this bar, like this search bar, type something in. Because I do know. My very first thing I looked up.
Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. My dad was the world's biggest Ask Jeeves fan.
Of course he was.
I'm sure Ben's like, wait, a butler actually answers your questions? Well, I'm used to this. Let me punch something in. What was Tony Gwynn's?
Well, first you had to dial up the modem. With the sound.
Yep.
And,
Jeeves.
Finally connects, and then it takes forever for like one page to load, and you're just sitting
15
there
minutes.
twiddling your thumbs, waiting for that page to load. And
Jeeves,
then finally,
hurry! Do you remember?
I don't remember the first thing I ever searched.
I do. You know what it was? It was chords. Guitar chords for Talk Tonight by Oasis. That was the first thing. I went to the Notre Dame. This is how old we are. Went to the Notre Dame library. Had heard about this thing called the internet. I don't have an ear for guitar. Back then, when you wanted to learn a song on guitar, you had to sit down and listen to it and see if you could play it. I never could do that. I've picked up maybe 3 songs by ear my whole life. All right, turn that off. This will make me insane. So, or you had to go to a music store, not like a Sam Goody, like a music store. They sold guitars and trumpets. Go to the rack and be like, okay, there's Bachman Turner Overdrive's entire catalog. And that you buy like the Oasis chord book for What's the Story, Morning Glory. Take it home, try to learn it. But it had all the music and it had the chords in there as well. So I found out about this thing called the internet. I went in, I punched in Talk Tonight guitar chords. It popped up, printed out. I took it home. I started playing the song. I learned it in 30 minutes. And that's the first thing I ever looked up on the internet. So I was back there the next day learning every song I could learn by that band. So I'm very excited this morning. I don't know, I tweeted, did I say they're playing in their hometown of Manchester on my 50th birthday.
Exactly, your 50th birthday next year.
July 19th.
Their 5th show after the reunion, if they make it to 5.
If they make it to 5.
One show at a time, kind of like us, kind of like the Padres, one game at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
Get through today. We'll
go 1-0 today.
We'll go 1-0 today.
Oasis, go 1-0.
Liam.
Yes.
Go Liam and Noel just kissing
the roach before a game.
So what's the process necessary to attempt to acquire tickets to said show?
So it looks like this Saturday at 1 a.m., I have to get up and log into Ticketmaster.co.
So like 9 a.m. England time.
Yeah.
By 1 a.m. here.
Ticketmaster.co/UK.
Oh, boy.
I have to log into that. I have to get in the queue.
The notoriously reliable Ticketmaster
never any
website.
issues with Ticketmaster.
Never. They're so well equipped to handle huge shows like this.
You need to find some Oasis message boards, fan groups. Just befriend somebody that's over there.
Paulie, you think my wife, by the way,
Get you those tickets.
she's so tired of it.
If you have like a Chase card or a Capital One card, you can't get pre-access, American Express, something like that.
So let me tell you what I did yesterday. This is no joke. So I went home. I got on some like message board type things. I went to their website to see if there's some sort of fan club I need to join. Right? Join the fan club. You'll get exclusive pre-sale. My neighbor, Kieran, is from Ireland. I was shooting hoops with Bo. He was driving by, and I jumped in front of his car. I go, hey, stop! I ran around the side. He was picking up his daughter. He's the best guy. I'm like, did you hear the news? He's like, no. And I said, Oasis, get back together. He's like, no way. I can't do an Irish accent. You're a much better Irish accent than me. I wish you were actually there for the combo so you could do it. But he goes, it's the first. I saw them open for REM 30 years ago. It was my first concert. I was a teenager. He goes, this is unbelievable. He goes, I go, if you have any of your British or UK friends that can get tickets, I'll pay them. I'll pay you. I'll pay for the ticket, whatever. I just need a pair. And he's like, there may be one guy. And I'm like, all right, so just keep me in the loop. Keep me abreast. I've been reaching out. Our buddy Travis Devlin says he knows a guy. I'm like,
how are there guys to know already at this point? This just came out today. Yet there's already guys to know to get tickets?
So Travis's cousin, this is where it gets dirty. Travis's wife's cousin works at Wembley, but I don't want to go to the Wembley show. I want to go to the Manchester show. I would take anything, obviously, but
just have Welsh Fryer do it.
Yeah, Welsh. I need you online. Here's my credit card.
Don't you think there's
I do it in a heartbeat.
Roughly 500,000 people whose wife's cousin works at Wembley at this point? I mean, they can't get tickets for everyone.
I know. That's what I thought. I was like, bro, we'll just anyway, keep me in the loop. So if any of the tier ones out there know someone, anything, just any lead, I will follow it like a private dick. Okay, I will be following it around. It's a short for detective. You never heard that before? Private dick, right?
Yeah.
So
Sam Spade.
Private dick. So I will be definitely on the hunt for that. But I just thought, man, on my 50th, that says to me that needs to happen. It's fate, karma, all of that. So that's what I spent my day doing yesterday, and that's what. Just reading and watching everything I could possibly watch. I am literally I feel like a school kid.
Do we need to ask we know the Padres. Maybe they can have a show at Petco Park just for you.
I thought about it, but I did see something leaked. And again, you never know what's real or not, but they had a couple shows booked at Soldier Field, and they had a couple shows booked at the Rose Bowl. But that was earlier. That was that was an earlier date. So if you're Oasis and you're a British legendary band, do you dare say, here's our British dates, and they start in July. We're going to play America in April and May? I don't think so. I think
there's a lot of time between now and July.
Yeah, of course, there is. There's a lot of time.
It's not like they need to learn all their songs between now and then. They already know the songs. Can't take that much rehearsal time to get ready for a tour. What's all the extra time for?
I booking stuff and I don't know. I mean,
now would you rather see them closer to home, like LA, earlier, or in their hometown on your 50th?
In their hometown on my 50th, but I will also go to both shows at the Rose Bowl. But
why not both?
I can take Bo to those because I'm not going to trek him across the pond as much as he wants to go. I don't think I got it in me. There's going to be 100,000 people out there, like me weaving through the crowd with him where a bunch of drunken Englishmen are out there. I mean, it sounds fun for me, but so anyway, I'm very excited. It's a huge day, huge day. But Eric, I was laughing at the chat. Eric said he was a guitar player too. And before the internet, he goes, you would have to turn the page while you were strumming to learn a new song. It's the worst experience.
Just download it onto your iPad.
Yeah, right.
What were you doing?
Super crazy to think that me and you, Ben, my freshman year of college, there was no internet. There really wasn't. And if there was, I'd never heard of it.
I was in college when I was first exposed to the internet.
It was crazy. Like, it said, when was it popular in the United States? Like 93.
That's my senior year of high school. I had not heard of it until probably 96. 95?
And it was mostly just text that you could get to at the internet at that point.
That's exactly right. You couldn't...
No videos.
Yeah. unfortunately for all of us, no videos.
No social media.
No social media. Man, but anyway, I digress for 11 minutes. I'm very excited.
Mud had nothing to show people.
That's right.
On his phone.
What did Mud was? Hey, read this passage from Tom Sawyer. You're going to like this here. He takes a book out and opens it up to show him to read the passage from it. Check this out. You're not going to believe. Look what Huck Finn said right here. Just showing him a book.
No wonder
on a plane.
He spent so much time imitating umpires and
nothing else
broadcasters.
To do.
He needed to fill the time, obviously, without the internet around.
Nothing else to do. All right, this guy says, this is great advice here. Get NordVPN for 1 month so you can switch your country to UK on Saturday. It can improve your chances to get tickets. Padres TJ, thank you for that advice. I wouldn't be able to do that if you put a gun to my head.
You could.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How do you do it? To sign up for NordVPN?
Yeah, it's a virtual private network.
It is?
Yeah. I could send one of my children over. And
Please do, actually.
They could probably do it for you pretty easily.
I think you could actually figure that out.
Tell Jack that if he wants to get up at 1 a.m. on Saturday and get me tickets, I'll take such good care of him.
These are 21 and 19-year-olds. They're still up at 1 a.m., and that would probably be much easier than getting up at 1 a.m.
I will take good care. Good care. So anyway, great night last night, certainly. We had a bit of a laugher, I would say, for most of the game, and we'll talk about the ins and outs. And want to know. Padres went 1-0 yesterday. Got off to an early start, which was really, really nice to see. Got Randy Vasquez a little run support. And the Rally Roach, what is our record? I just wrote it down. Since the Rally Roach, and for those of you listening for the first time, we were in here about a month ago, 29 games ago. And for some reason, we'd never seen one in here before, but there was a giant roach in here. Giant, like huge roach. And we freaked out.
It was life size right here.
It was on the air. And
we actually stuffed him and put wheels on him.
Next thing you know, Padres go on this insane run. They are the Rally Roach is 21-8, man. 21-8 is a staggering record.
It's over 600 winning percentage.
Yes.
It's outstanding baseball.
That's outstanding baseball. Just the new Oasis song?
Yeah.
Nine legs on the radio floor, found a cockroach breaking the law. The luck's a fickle friend, they say. The Rally Roach here to stay.
My God.
San Diego, the baseball scene. Padres needing that lucky sheen.
The new Post Malone.
Bentonwood Studio Muse. The Rally Roach breaking the blues. Rally Roach bring us the light.
I hate it so much.
Through the darkest night. Tiny hero in the wings. Makes the crowd cheer and makes them sing. Rally Roach bring us the light. Crawling through the darkest night.
Rally Roach.
Tiny hero in the wings. Makes the crowd cheer and makes them sing.
Tiny hero. That's so good. 21-8 for that Rally Roach, man. I still don't have the stones to put it on a shirt, though. I'll tell you that right now. We get a shirt made and we sell that shirt, Padres are dropping 9 in a row.
I tend to agree.
I promise.
I tend to agree.
It's guaranteed.
Now, there was a bug that invaded the booth in St. Louis yesterday on television with Don and Mutt. If it had been a roach,
oh my God,
and not whatever
I would have
praying mantis or whatever it was,
gone and put $10,000 on the Padres to win the World Series.
And we probably would have had to book those T-shirts as well. But I don't think it was a roach. Looked green, non-roach-like.
Yeah, it's really tiny. Don got very scared of that little bug that was in there last night. Now, I don't really get scared of little bugs. I get terrified of roaches, though. They'll fly.
Grasshopper, Elisa thinks.
Is that what it was? Yeah. And roaches fly, crawl in your mouth, and lay eggs.
Eat your face off.
Eat your face off, and doo-doo on you and stuff. Like, I just have no desire.
I
hate it so much. Who's it sound like? Posty. Yeah.
I think I typed in like a rock, the prompt was like a rock song, but
3 Doors Down.
It's like a little country.
Yeah, well, it's Posty. Like a little
He's
country.
Like rap country.
But no, yeah.
It's got a little auto tune in
Jelly
there.
Roll, maybe?
Jelly Roll. Yes.
There's also like a little bit of Nickelback or 3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down. A little
Creed.
butt rocky. Yeah. Jelly Roll always makes that guy's insanely talented. But
all right.
That nickname always makes me laugh. Always. Its name or whatever it is.
Talk about Jelly Roll for a second.
Yeah.
So there was a while back when we had the Daily Diddy way back when.
I miss those days.
I kind of do too. I remember I picked a category, and I don't remember what song or what band it was, but the category was bands you just assumed you hated.
Based on the name.
Jelly Roll is one of them.
You hear the name Jelly Roll, you're like, yeah, you're like, I'm out.
I see the name, and I go, absolutely not.
Absolutely
and
not.
I see he's in the same circles as Morgan Wallen. I'm like, no, not for me. Listen to a couple songs.
Pretty good, man.
This guy's got some pipes.
It's just the name.
This guy's a damn good singer.
It's the name that gets me. It's like, all right, well, here's Biscuit. Up on see, like, I'm not listening to a guy named Biscuit. I'm just not. I'm not having. All right, Biscuits and Gravy here, and no, I'm out. I'm out. But he's a talented dude. All right, let's get into it. Benny will set the menu next. We'll talk some Padres baseball.
Yep, Kelly Danick's got some traffic, and then more Biscuit and Gravy in the mornings on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Feel for you, Lisa. In the chat, she says, I'm too tired to make my coffee this morning.
That's
Struggle bus. That is the worst.
Hannah woke me up at 1:15, and I tossed and turned until it was time to get up. So here I am. It's not conducive to a very healthy lifestyle. It's just not.
It's an unusual wake-up time, to be sure.
She's an unusual bird, is what she is, but I love her so.
How's school going? Everybody fine so far?
Not really.
Not really?
No. No.
How much of the game did you get to watch?
You know, what I told you guys was going to happen.
Yesterday, yes. I was fascinated by this, putting the game on in every room, so no matter where your kids lead you throughout the house, you can sort of see it out of the corner of an eye somewhere.
Catch a little bit. Yeah. But, yeah, you had to do. Now, luckily, last night, and we'll talk about the game next, but last night was a bit of you didn't feel a lot of stress, right? So I was able to say, all right, it's bath time. Let's hit it. No problem. And I dragged my phone in there and stuff. But, you know, you also want to be like a present father. It's this dichotomy. And I have said for many years, I don't know how the national guys do it, where they seemingly have caught every single game the night before, and they're also and they make a lot of money and there's a lot of pressure, but they're also seemingly good parents. I find it hard to be really good at this and still be a committed husband and father. It's very difficult just because you just don't have the time to lock in. Like I miss so much stuff. I missed the crony potential interference. I missed it. I came back in. I heard them talking about it. But, you know, kids got to get fed and bath time. It's just really hard to juggle that. So
they missed it, too, live.
Yeah, so I heard they did.
So don't feel so bad. No one really saw it until after the fact. Big old collision out there. But, yeah, no, I mean, you know, life intrudes on our baseball watching, all of us.
Well,
I'm sure everyone has that experience.
And baseball is such a game for me. Like, I don't know about how it is for you guys, but I can put an NFL game on and have it on all day, or red zone or whatever, or a college football game. I don't feel the need to watch it as intently. Basketball, great example. If there's the biggest game in the world, I'm like, how are we looking with a minute and a half left? Great. I feel like I've caught everything I need to catch. Baseball, so many little things happen that maybe you've never seen. Maybe your favorite player makes a good play.
Certainly. Also, there's no football or basketball game, even the Super Bowl, that you're going to talk about for 4 hours. Like you're going to talk about a Padres baseball game.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
We need lots of detail.
You need the detail.
To carry the conversation.
The devil is in the details.
And we will start that conversation coming up in our next segment with our Padres Wrap-Up. I'll tell you what I thought was absolutely the most critical key element of last night's game. Not just for the win, but for this entire road trip, maybe, and stretch of 18 games in 18 days. Something big from last night's game that was really, really good to see, Padres fans. So we'll talk about that coming up in our Padres Wrap-Up in our next segment. 7:10, take on Woods, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. No winners yet this week. You can go head-to-head against Woods in our musical trivia challenge. I won't make it Oasis because that seems like Woodsy would be dialed in on that category. So
yeah, you could do 20, and I'd probably get 18 out of 20.
Not going to do that today. Don't do this at 7:20. Second half of the show. Looking forward to welcoming Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres, back on a Tuesday. He will join us from muggy and hot St. Louis, where Woods told me even the corn was sweating last night.
So, listen, I like to needle people, as you guys know. Tweeted last night. Now, and you know what? There's some really good Cardinal fans out there. Like there's in every fan base, and there's some not. So I said, wow, it looks like baseball's best fans took the night off. They called.
I saw it instantly. First foul ball of the game. I go,
what in the world?
Oh my God! There's nobody at Busch Stadium. There's nobody there.
It was shocking. And again, like every time we see, and there were a lot of Padres fans there. They would pan to the crowd and they'd show a lot of Padres fan there. But so this gal quote tweeted me last night and sent it back, and she said, "Dude, our corn is emitting buckets full of sweat into our atmosphere, creating excessive heat warnings in the Midwest today. Temps in the high 90s, feels over 100. We deserve to watch the game in air conditioning." I wrote, fair. Fair enough.
I didn't know that the corn could sweat and make it even hotter in the Midwest. That's a thing.
I didn't really realize. I mean, it's obviously corn around that area is a huge, huge crop.
I just Googled it. Yeah. Corn sweat makes heat wave even worse.
Corn sweat. Y'all got to go get the corn sweating. It's time to go get it off the stalk. I've had meat sweats before, but I've never had the corn sweats. It's phenomenal. So
do they have like a corn antiperspirant or something that they can use?
Yeah, but you can't use aluminum. So it gives you Alzheimer's.
The heat index is calculated using dew points and temperature, so anything that adds extra moisture into the air can impact them. That's where
like
corn sweat comes in.
Have you guys ever heard, did we ever play the song Corn Star?
Corn Star.
Have you guys we never played it on this show?
I don't think so.
You guys will hear it today. It's a real country song. It's called Corn Star. And we'll play it for you. I'd say after the wrap-up, but maybe at 8 o'clock. Come back with a little
perfect.
Corn Star. All right, remember, Corn Star, 8 a.m. You guys are going to die.
After Jesse, Paulie's got a Reindl Report for us in our 9 o'clock hour. And don't forget, we are giving away Kansas tickets at Humphreys in September. You are listening for the Sounder. It's that minor league announcer. Remember him?
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth when you are gone.
That's the Sounder. Not now, but the next time you hear that, Paulie plays it. Call 833-288-0973. You'll have a chance to win tickets to see Kansas at Humphreys by the Bay.
Now. Do not call.
Not now. September 22nd. That's not when you call. That's when the concert is. You call when Paulie plays that again. You chance to win tickets to see Kansas at Humphreys. And that'll take us up to 10 o'clock and an Annie and Elston program here on a Tuesday. So there's your menu. Let's come back with our Padres wrap-up, get all the highlights from Jesse and last night's 7-4 win over the St. Louis Cardinals and the start of a 7-game road trip. Coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Well, it was the homecoming of sorts for Mike Shildt last night in St. Louis.
That had to be tough. It's got to be tough.
Well, I'm sure it was a lot easier after winning.
Oh, yeah.
The game yesterday.
But I mean, just the whole thing of like leading up to it, you land, you walk in that stadium, Benny, for the first time, and it's in the visiting clubhouse. I mean, it's just got to.
Used to going right.
Yeah, you go left, and you're probably a lot of the same people that were there when he was there. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I mean, he probably pressed more flesh yesterday than he has all season long, and saying hi to people and
he downplayed it, but it was
he did.
It's definitely it was a big moment for him.
Well, you're human. I mean, you're a human being. If it didn't affect you in some way, then you may be a robot. I mean, it's just really, really, especially with how things ended there in St. Louis for him. It's got to be, but it's got to feel really good walking in there with a really good ball club that you've done a good job managing, that has really had an incredible second half. And you walk in there, if you walk in there 500, and you're scuffling too, people are like, oh, whatever. I saw Cardinals fans last night in the final score thread, like, they were doing our record against their record and Shildt against Marmol and blah, 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 and we let this guy go, and this is BS. We would have won that game with Shildt. I mean, it's pretty nuts to see.
For certain, when you have the record on your side, it's going to make things a little bit easier.
100%.
And Mike Shildt has always had the record on his side. Ever since he's become a manager, 4 seasons of full managing, 3 in the Cardinals, and now 1 of the Padres, and it looks like it'll be 4 trips to the playoffs for Mike Shildt, hopefully at the end of this season.
Yeah.
We'll talk about yesterday's game, series opener, first of 4 in St. Louis. Our Padres wrap-up coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Got a number of things going on this morning, guys. Encampment fire, northbound side of the 805 past the 905. Smoke visible from the right shoulder. Cordell traffic cam shows some plywood in the slow lane, north 163 before Genesee. Major closure along Claremont Mesa Boulevard, both directions between the 805 to Limerick. You cannot take the westbound Claremont Mesa exit off of north or southbound 805. This is all due to investigation of a deadly collision involving a police cruiser that happened late last night. We'll keep you posted on that. But if you normally take Claremont Mesa Boulevard, consider taking Balboa instead. Claremont Mesa Boulevard remains blocked between the 805 and Limerick. In peak wildfire season, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick, Den & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah! Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
Here's the 1-1, man. He swings, hits it in the air. Straightaway center and deep. Scott is back at the wall. This one gonna go onto the grass embankment in center field. Machado a 2-run homer, and the Padres a 2-0 lead. 2-2 pitch, hit off the middle, and into center field, a base hit. Donovan will trot home an RBI single for Paul Goldschmidt, his 50th RBI of the season, and the Cardinals are on the board. It's 2-1. 3-1 to Jackson Merrill. Gibson delivers. Jackson swings, lines it into left field, and a base hit. Profar has scored. Machado's being waved. Burleson comes up throwing. The tag is not in time. 2-run single, Jackson Merrill, and a 4-1 Padre lead. 0-1 from Vasquez. The pitch to Carpenter, sent in the air, straightaway center. Playable for Merrill, should be deep enough to get the run home. Makes the catch. Herrera tags. Throw comes in behind second base. Sacrifice fly Matt Carpenter. And now 4-2 game here in the fourth. 2-2 to Manny, hit hard and beyond the dive of Arenado down the left field side. Ricochets off the sidewall. Burleson's got to go and get it. The run is scored. Cronenworth into third base. It's an RBI double for Manny Machado and a 5-2 Padre lead. 2-2 to Xander. Here's the pitch from Gibson. Swung on, hit in the air to left center field. Long run, Victor Scott into the gap. Gets there to make the catch. Cronenworth will tag and score. Behind him, Machado goes to third base. Sacrifice fly for Xander Bogaerts, and the Padre lead is 6-2. Now battle mode here against Liberator. 2-2, reach for, poked into right center field. That'll drop down, and another base hit. Machado scores easily. Merrill an RBI single. He's driven in 3, and the Padre lead is 7-2.
Pure happiness.
Suarez ready. Here's the pitch. Burleson swings, kind of pokes it in the air. That'll drop down shallow center field and a base hit. Merrill charges it. He's got no throw home, and Wynn will come in to score. 7-4. San Diego in the bottom of the ninth. 2-2. Suarez deals. Arenado swings. It's a sharp ground ball to short. Backhanded by McCoy. The long throw is in time, and the ball game is over. Redbirds get one in the bottom of the ninth, but Mike Shildt and his Padres come to St. Louis and beat the Cardinals 7-4 in Game 1 of this 4-game series.
Being able to add on runs are huge. So, once we're able to open it up, Jackson with a big 2-out knock for 2 RBIs, another great at bat, against the lefty for another 1-out RBI. And, once we open it up, go get him and he went to attack mode.
Add-on runs are huge, says Mike Shildt, and he is right. But what do you need before you can add on runs?
Runs.
You need runs,
yep.
Early runs. And the Padres got some early offense. It's such a difference maker for this team in particular when they can score like they did in the first inning. Manny turning that Jake Cronenworth hit by pitch into a quick 2-0 lead against Kyle Gibson. And you'd need some offense with Randy Vasquez on the mound. And he gave up a couple, but I thought the key to the, kind of maybe even this whole series and the rest of the road trip, when the Padres added on that extra offense in the top of the 5th inning, I thought that Randy Vasquez was probably done.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It was he got through 4, scuffled a little in the 4th, looked like he was teetering on the edge. He was closing in on 80 pitches, and I thought, yeah, I think I'm good. Let's see Morihone, let's see Reynolds, let's see Matsui, use that back of the bullpen. They can be good sometimes, and we'll see if we can get this to another win. But when the Padres added on, Mike Shildt sent Randy Vasquez back out for not just the 5th, but he was so efficient the 6th as well. I think the 6th inning needed just 5 pitches to get through, and that is bullets saved for a taxed Padres bullpen. That was big in that game. Obviously, they still went to Tanner Scott and Robert Suarez in the last couple of innings, and heard Matt Scraby on the postgame show saying, don't know if they should be doing that. Well, that's what Mike Shildt does. If it's within 4, pretty much he's going to be aggressive and use his bullpen like it's a save situation, even though technically it's not. Just assume that 4 runs is Mike Shildt's cutoff. At this point, he wants to make sure he wins games. He's got a reason for it. I heard Matt saying, I wonder if he's going to say anything about it. I think he's pretty much explained it.
Yeah, yes.
When the Padres are up 4, even in the 9th inning like yesterday, if he brings in someone else, they have to face 3 batters. And if they don't get the job done, now I have to bring in Suarez, and I'm putting him in a really tough situation, maybe even facing the tying run at that point. I don't want to put any pitcher in a situation where, if I can help it, they don't have a bit of a safety net, a little cushion, like, hey, you walk the first guy, you give up a bloop single, it's not the end of the world. You go out there, get the job done, get your feel, go out there. So if it's a 4-run lead and, he's got guys available, he's going to his high-leverage guys. He's been very clear about that this season.
I have less than zero problem with it. It's a trust thing. And again, if there wasn't a 3-batter minimum, Sean Reynolds, Yuki Matsui, fine, no problem. Oh, man, Yuki comes in and walks the first guy, or Sean Reynolds comes in and can't find the plate, you're done. All right, now I got to go to Suarez anyway. He was already up getting hot. But, because, again, if one guy gets on, Benny, save situation, right? Right then. So it's one of those things where why mess around? If Robert says, I'm good to go, they've done a good job at managing all of these guys' workloads. I don't feel like ass is overtaxed right now. Do you guys? I certainly don't look at their usage and say we're going to fry these guys. It may very well happen, but I don't think it's happened yet. So I have no problem with the way they manage the bullpen.
Yeah, if it comes down to a one-run game in the last couple of innings today, you'll go, well, it's too bad we don't probably have Scott and Suarez necessarily. But you still have Adam. You still have Estrada. Yep. You've got some good pitchers you can throw back there. And maybe you're up by 8 or maybe you're down by 5 today. You don't
100%.
You can't manage tomorrow's game today.
It's just a trust. You can plan for tomorrow's game today, sure. But you can't manage it, and because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if your starter's getting knocked out in the first or their starter is. It's a trust thing as much as it is, I'm going to go for the jugular and get this win in the first game of this series. I'm going to go for the jugular. I'm going to get the win. I have no problem with an aggressive manager.
I think sometimes fans feel like, oh, well, worst case scenario, now they can't hold on to a close lead, and they end up splitting the 2 games. No, the worst case scenario is you don't go to your high leverage guys, somehow lose the game today, and then find out the next day we didn't need them anyway. We could have pitched those guys yesterday because we were way up or way down, or our starter went 8, and we didn't need the back end of the bullpen. I can't go back in time and put them back into the game yesterday, so I'm just going to use them now when I know they can help me close out a win.
I just want to get a win.
Yeah.
If it's at every level, little league, high school, college, adult ball, pro ball. The guys you can trust are the guys you go to when you need to win a game. Obviously, you can't use those guys every single day. He knows that, and he's done a good job at managing it so far. So I think last night was well managed. I think it was well played, well executed on both sides of the ball. Guys stepped up. Jackson Merrill's AB off Liberatore was incredible. The lefty.
Both of his run-scoring at-bats were terrific. The one off Gibson, the 2-run bases loaded after Xander couldn't get the job done.
Hit that little dribbler.
Force at the plate. Puts Jackson up in a bases-loaded 2-out situation. Pretty important part of the game where you're looking for a little add-on at that point. And he comes through again. And pretty much we were all sure he was going to. Honestly, right? I mean, you felt extremely confident.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
In Jackson Merrill in a situation like that.
Anytime you get that kid up at the plate with a chance to drive in runs and do damage, I mean, especially lately, he's one of the most trusted bats you have on your team. But
what I thought was impressive, Gibson got him in that first at-bat.
Yeah.
Got him down, back foot slider, I think, breaking ball. And okay, the rookie then comes back and makes an adjustment against a pitcher. I mean, he had seen him early in the season, so Gibson made his adjustment because he homered off Gibson in April. Then Jackson adjusted back in that next at-bat. Just fantastic. Veteran stuff.
Tim Flannery said he's never seen a rookie adjust on the fly as much as consistent as Jackson Merrill has done it this year. And Tim Flannery has seen a lot of baseball. A lot of rookies, a lot of great rookies, a lot of great hitters. Played with a lot of great hitters. He said his ability to adjust on the fly so consistently makes him an absolute must tune in for me. And that's Tim's quote.
Hi, this is Jackson Merrill.
Hi, Jackson.
And then the at-bat against Liberatore that you mentioned, just to make it from 6-2 to 7-2 there. But that was such a fantastic at-bat. It happened to be right at about 6:19, which is when I typically have to walk into the studio for my 6:21 sports segment on Channel 10. And I kept every at-bat, fouled off a pitch. I'm going, I want to see how this at-bat ends. And I'm I've got ready to go. I've got my earpiece in. I'm ready to kind of jump in there, but I don't want to miss the end of that bat. Mm-hmm. I started walking okay, fouled off another one. It's I start walking, and then I realize, no, I've got 10 more seconds. So I run back to the television, and I see the ball fall into right center field. And I go, okay. I think I can go safely, do my TV job, knowing that I got to see the end of that Jackson Merrill at-bat.
Yeah, beautifully done. And Manny hitting home runs after one of his guys gets plunked is a fun thing. And AC had another stat. We've told you, when Manny Machado drives in 2 or more runs, the Padres are 21-0. It's the old Emmitt Smith. Every time he carries the ball more than 25 times, they win 100% of the games.
Why didn't they just give him the ball the first 25 plays?
Manny just hit a 2-run homer in the first. It's a guaranteed dub. You guys can cruise then. I thought he played brilliantly defensively as well. Brilliant. And, just a really, really solid game all around.
Love that he got one past Arenado, too.
Incredible.
Just out of
Incredible.
his reach.
And he robbed Arenado, too, on that little dribbler.
Manny was quoted to AC in his newsletter today. He says, "I just feel better," said Machado, who also doubled on a sweeper down and away. "My body is able to do things I couldn't do months ago."
Yeah.
When your body is able to do some things, you can bounce back from things quicker.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a nice, he's hitting the ball hard.
What really good extension on that home run. That was the outside corner pitch. Just got his arms extended and drives it out to center. Most guys, that's a fly out. But with Manny Machado, he's got the power to be able to drive that out to center field.
Past 9 games, 5 for 11, 2 home runs, double on fastballs. So he's on the heater right now. But yeah, man, it's good to see when the one of the leaders of the team steps up and spots you to 2-0, and you can't say enough good things about Randy Vasquez. I mean, again, he's not a real comfortable watch. Somebody said it's like playing Russian roulette. Yeah, I mean, he misses his spots a lot, and he missed one to Goldschmidt that Mudd was like, gotta get higher than that there, because Goldie had his only good swing of the night, and he comes back to strike him out, made an adjustment there. But yeah, man, it's really fun to watch. And I saw people last night mad at Bryce Johnson for getting thrown out at the plate. I'm like, you guys know. You've heard of the contact play, right? When there's contact, you run. That's not a Bryce Johnson decision. That is a Mike Schilt, Tim Leeper decision.
Right.
And they hit the ball, you run. Out. Yeah, you got to make them make the right play. Come on, guys. Let's be
Padres catch up a half game on the Diamondbacks and Dodgers, who were not active yesterday, because otherwise they probably would have won. But 4 games back in the division. Talk about it more coming up next year. Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Couple other notes from the game yesterday. Some good Shilts fundamental baseball in terms of taking the extra base, advancing on a deep fly ball. They had the double tag up from first and second to second and third that helped them score some runs. Just things that I know make Mike Shildt quietly smile, especially when he's doing it in front of his old team there in St. Louis.
I love that.
Playing, that's the Cardinal way, right? That's what they call it.
Yeah, Cardinal way.
And Padres may not call it the Cardinal way, but a lot of what Mike Shildt is doing with this team is, of course, modeled by what he learned in, decades in that organization from their, litany of coaches that he studied under. And that's what he has brought to the San Diego Padres. And so far, it seems like it's been pretty effective.
You know what else he's brought to the San Diego Padres? And these are not my words. These are the words of Hall of Fame closer Trevor Hoffman, who I happened to run into yesterday. Pulled up to the gym. I won't say which one because I don't want to rat him out. But I walked up, and guess who's walking out?
I was floored, though, because it was just a normal gym.
Yeah, this isn't.
I expected Trevor Hoffman to have his own studio somewhere with his own,
He can't have his own gym,
army of trainers,
the finest
whatever.
Trainers.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a literal Hall of Famer.
And he's working out with schlubs
like me,
like you,
yeah, the YMCA or something.
Right, yeah, right. So I walk up and I go, "Hey," and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm good, man. How you doing?" He said, "Great." And he said, and he's so sweet, dude. He's so sweet. You know what his first thing he said? He goes, "How's Bo?" And I go, "He's doing so good, man. He's great, playing a lot of ball, loves it." And we started, chewing the fat about the team. Of course, he works for the team, And I said, "So, what are your thoughts, man?" He goes, "I got to tell you." He goes, "Shilty he's the one thing, the thing I love most about him." He goes, "He has had the most consistent message of any manager." He's like, in a long time. And he goes, from the first day of spring training till today, it's been the exact same message. He's so consistent. I said, yeah, he absolutely is. And we chewed the fat a little bit more about the team and Jackson Merrill. And I said, how about this guy? And he goes, that kid's leading the clubhouse, man. He's 21 years old. He's in there, and everyone is feeding off of his energy. He goes, it's really, really cool to see. He loves him. He goes, he's a dog, plays the game the right way, the whole thing. And then Corey Lubke walked out. With Trevor. Woodsy, meet Corey Lubke. I'm like, Corey Lubke, I know you. Do you want to pitch on Sundays?
See, now,
perhaps?
No offense, but it doesn't surprise me as much that Corey Lubke works out with everybody in the normal spot.
Why are you taking shots at Corey Lubke?
I'm not. I'm just surprised that Trevor Hoffman is there.
He didn't do anything to you.
I'm just surprised that Trevor Hoffman is there.
But he didn't do anything to you.
I didn't say that he did.
He's a sweet, sweet guy.
Corey Lubke, not a Hall of Famer, though.
They are the same level. They are in the same fraternity.
That's
Major
right.
League Baseball
Not
player.
quite.
Trev's in another fraternity that puts him a little bit more.
It's just a slightly higher fraternity.
Elite. He is the night. Trevor
I feel like I need to there's got to be some trainers out there who would be happily take on Trevor Hoffman as a pro bono client if they want, if you wanted that. Personal training services for Trevor Hoffman.
Corey, I will take you on the tier ones tomorrow. All right? Just so you know, if you're listening. Oh,
we know you would.
The other thing that Trevor told me, we feared this might happen. If you remember a few weeks ago, before I went to Hawaii, Ben and Paul thought it would be really funny to prank their old pal Woodsy, who would never do that to either of them.
It was pretty funny.
And they pranked me. Paulie said that Dave Roberts was going to come in studio.
Dodgers I pulled you into a different room, and I just said, "Look, man, I'm dying."
I don't know what to do.
I'm planning these shows, 8 shows while you're gone.
Yeah, I knew I had to leave so Paulie could pull the wool over your eyes and tell.
I said, "Dude, Ben is killing me right now."
He's killing me.
Like, what's going on? I'm like, he wants to bring Dave Roberts in.
In fact, Paulie said they've texted.
They've been texting.
It's going to happen.
They'll be here on
Tuesday,
Sunday night for the Monday game, and he wants to have him in Monday morning, chop it up.
And I lost my mind. So Hoffy goes, I got to tell you. He goes, I was crying when I heard that prank. He goes, I was with Doc. And I played it for him. Now, I had heard through the grapevine that they were together that day and that Trevor had heard it. What I didn't think Trevor would do was stab me right in the throat.
Pull up the Odyssey app.
Play it for Doc Roberts. Satan's Blowfish says, is this a bit? It's not. It's not. Toffee said I played it for him. He laughed, he goes, I also thought he was going to, like, seek you guys out. I went, oh, my God. Because I talk a big game.
You do a great job.
If Doc Roberts got in my grill, I would soil myself.
You cave?
I would cave. He's 5'0", but he would destroy me.
Dodgers PR emails you.
Just
next
dress
time they're
me
in town.
down.
Hey, are you going to be at the ballpark? We'd love to have you in the third base dugout.
Yeah, come on down.
He's a military kid, cancer survivor.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy.
He's a tough
dude.
guy.
No doubt, man. And so Hoffy goes, yeah, I played it for him. And he goes, we were
Go
laughing.
Dave Roberts.
But he did. He said, he goes, I legit thought, honestly, I think I hurt Doc's feelings. Which, like we've talked about before, great human being. You're the Dodgers manager. You're public enemy number one.
Yeah.
So that's just where it's not personal. He's not personally.
He's not a
great
bad guy.
great guy.
He's a
You've
Dodger
turned
loving.
Dave Roberts into probably more of a villain than he deserves to be turned into. Let's just say that.
Fair assessment.
But he took the job.
He took the job
as the Dodgers manager. Not that anyone wouldn't have taken that job as
the
Dodgers
Padres
manager.
they didn't even call him.
They didn't.
We've heard that
they did
before.
So he took the job, and he's got that job, and it's his responsibility to try to beat the Padres as often and by as many as he
hope
possibly
he's there for another
can.
30 years.
But I would hope that Doc would realize we also have a job to do, and having the Dodgers manager in here would have been a bad business decision for our
Correct.
show. Right.
Now, one day, if he's retired and moves on, I would like
No.
I would like to mend fences,
All
hopefully,
right.
with Dave Roberts,
All
but not now. He's the Dodgers manager.
he needs to be removed from manager of the Dodgers, and then what's the statute of limitations there? Like, give it like a
3 years.
3 to
Yeah,
5
not,
years.
Not the day
3
after,
years.
but there needs to
And
be
then
some
we'll go
time.
golfing.
But
Depends on how it ends. If he's like if he retires as Dodgers hero and legend,
yeah.
they retire his number, it's going to be harder to mend the
much
fences.
harder. Yeah.
Most managers don't get that at the end. You know, they move on to another job somewhere else. It's like, okay, we can move on as well.
It's really going to kill you if you don't get your relationship back with this man, isn't it? It's going to kill you. No, I mean, and again, it's all in good fun.
Well,
We just like
obviously,
that
he's got at least some sense of humor if he laughs.
Yeah, he did laugh. But I think it was probably one of those laughs like, ha, 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 I'll kill these guys. Ha, 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 I'll kill him. Yeah, I'm with Janine. Janine says hard pass. I'm with you. I think too much is transpired at this point. I just want to win games and beat them and watch them, fall over themselves if that's to be. But it was nice seeing Hoffy. He is a true gentleman. A true gentleman.
Well, if Dave is listening right now, wants to take on Woods, now would be the time to call in.
All right, let's go. Put your money where your mouth is.
833-288-0973. That's also available to the rest of you who would like to call in, take on Woods for a chance to qualify for our getaway to Las Vegas and the Carrie Underwood tickets. Maybe we can get Carrie Underwood to sing the Rally Roach song as part of her residency at Resorts World. Call now, 833-288-0973. As I mentioned, Padres picked up half a game on the Diamondbacks and Dodgers. They're 4 back of the Dodgers, a game back of the Diamondbacks. Braves won yesterday, so still 3 up on Atlanta. And the Mets were off, so 6 games up on the New York Mets, who are the first team not in the playoff picture. And we're now down to 29 games remaining. That's a 6-game lead over the first non-playoff team with 29 games remaining. I'm not there yet, but you know what the next step is, don't you, Woods?
No.
Magic numbers.
Oh, no.
Not yet, but
no.
It's coming sometime in September. And that daily, okay.
There's nothing that excites you more.
Magic numbers?
Magic numbers.
You like magic numbers.
You really, really do.
Not going to get there yet. I'm not ready yet.
Okay. What's the date here?
It's definitely sometime in September.
Okay. Early September?
Probably
maybe?
early September.
Okay.
When we can throw that the magic number out. Once it gets under, in the 10 to 15 range, I think is when you can start at least mentioning the magic number exists. And for anyone who doesn't know, because, we're Padres fans and we haven't had a ton of experience dealing with magic numbers, that's the number of wins plus losses of the trailing team that gets you to clinch a playoff spot. So right now we would be the Mets.
So if your magic number was 6.
That would be Padres wins plus Mets losses. And once it equals 6, you've clinched a playoff spot.
Because if the Padres won a game and the Mets
you
lost,
could get two in a day.
4.
You could get 2 in a day.
Yeah, get 2 in a day.
Now, if the if the Giants pass the Mets, then
so you're
switch.
muddying,
that's why it's a
you're
little
muddying
early.
the waters right now.
It's a little early.
So
That's
early.
why I'm not doing the magic number yet.
Oh God, his brain, the way that his brain works like this, it's crazy.
Already planning the parade.
All right, I see some contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods. All right, let's go with Paul. Paul, let's go with Paul.
I'm ready.
Got
Wait,
Paul.
not me?
Not you. No, where are you go?
This Paul?
This Paul, yes. Yesterday we had a Tier 1 Paul who actually submitted the category. Not the same Paul, is it?
No.
Different Paul. That's okay. All right, Paul, you are our contestant today. If you can beat or tie Woods, who has left, 5 questions of musical trivia. We'll put you into the drawing for the grand prize to Resorts World Las Vegas, 2-night stay, Carrie Underwood tickets. You can get your tickets at AXS.com. Yeah, and RWLasVegas.com. It's not easy, though. I mean, a good prize like that, right. It's always a challenge. We'll give you the advantage of picking the category. Your choices are sister acts. Those are 5 different bands or artists with sister in their name. Genesis, all about the band Genesis. And our new category, Asian Nation. 5 song titles that feature a single word ending in A-T-I-O-N. Asian. So, sister acts, Genesis, or Asian Nation. Paul?
Let's go with Genesis.
Genesis. All right. We're getting a little progressive today with a category all about the band Genesis. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie is going to play a well-known hit from Genesis. You just need to give me the song title to score that point since we already know the band. Paul, are you ready to play?
Okay.
Yes.
I am ready to play.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock. The category is Genesis. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Paul.
Thank you.
Let's take on Woods.
That's all.
Correct. The original lead singer of Genesis, which artist left the group and launched his solo career with 1975's Salisbury Hill?
Peter Gabriel.
Correct. Which 1986 album title track was the only song ever to reach number 1 on the charts for Genesis? And now it seems I'm falling for her.
Invisible Touch.
Correct. In addition to his work with Genesis, bassist Mike Rutherford formed which band in 1985 known for hits including The Living Years?
Mike and the Mechanics.
Correct. Which 1981 Genesis title track is named after the order of the musical notes for the first section of the song?
We Can't Dance?
No, that's 4. I wonder if it's going to be costly.
That's going to be close.
That is Abacab. A-B-A-C-A-B. Got That's All, Peter Gabriel, Invisible Touch, and Mike and the Mechanics. I don't know. I think this is going to be tough. These. We'll see. Paul, hang on the line. Paul's score is locked in.
Quiet.
I know.
Waiting on you.
We're waiting on you. All right, we got 5 questions again. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on the other Paul.
That's all by Genesis.
Correct. The original lead singer of Genesis, which artist left the group and launched his solo career with 1970.
Peter Gabriel.
Correct. Which 1986 album title track was the only song ever to reach number 1 on the charts for Genesis, and now it seems I'm falling for her.
Sussudio?
No. In addition to his work with Genesis, bassist Mike Rutherford formed which band?
Mike and the Mechanics.
Correct. Which 1981 Genesis title track is named after the order of the musical notes for the first section of the song?
Abacab.
Oh, wow. And he pulls out the 4-4 tie. But, Paul, congratulations. A tie goes to the listener, the contestants. So stay on the line because the other Paul, that would be Paul Reindl, will get your information and put you into the drawing.
I'm more proud of that win or that tie than any win.
He was nailing them all. He missed Abacab. I thought it was going to be a 5 for 5.
I like that song a lot.
I thought you'd get Invisible Touch. So now it seems I'm falling for her.
She
seems to have an invisible touch. Is it or
She seems to have an invisible touch.
our buddy John from KSON. He was walking down the hall, probably going to the restroom or something. He had his phone. He was listening to Take on Woods. And when Woods started, he was looking into our studio window, and he goes, and he's flashing
I got five. He got five.
I got five for five. And then you missed one, and he threw his hands up in the air.
We're planning a tournament of champions that includes Woods and John at some point to determine an overall grand champion. But good job, Paul.
Hey,
you are qualified with your 4 correct answers in the category Genesis.
Okay, there you go.
All right, we'll come back. We've got Don't Do This next. Really nice moment for Do This. Major leaguer making his debut.
Oh, these are the coolest.
Letting his family know all about it. We'll get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan, after traffic. So we've had some fun at Magic Johnson's expense over the years for his style of social media, his tweets, which tend to be fairly, well, on the obvious side.
Correct.
That's his
very Captain
signature
Obvious
style. So
yesterday the Padres beat the Cardinals 7-4.
Right.
It was a great game.
Manny Machado hit a two-run home run.
Yeah.
So what does it take to break Magic out of his normal tweeting shell and kind of clap back at someone? Well, we finally had it this weekend, and it was NBA star Anthony Edwards, who was, I think, doing an interview, and he was kind of just talking off the cuff, talking about what basketball was like back when, back in the 90s, way back when. So I didn't watch it back in the day, so I can't speak on it. But they say it was tougher back then than it is now. But I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill, you know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill. Well, that comment did not sit well with some, NBA stars from the 80s and
I imagine.
And 90s and even
I love Anthony Edwards so much.
He's great. He's hysterical, but come on.
He doesn't give a
He does not care.
Even Magic Johnson had to come back, and he didn't have his usual tweeting style. He said, "I'd never respond to a guy who's never won a championship. He didn't win a college championship. I don't even know if he won a high school championship." Oh. To Anthony Edwards.
Oh.
Ouch.
That's as hardcore as he gets.
That's as hardcore as he gets, but that's Magic clapping back at someone. Ouch.
No skill.
No skill at all.
No, just plodding through it. Magic and Drexler and all those
Bird.
guys. But Bird, my God. Yeah, zero skill. Just
Jordan was the only one that knew how to play basketball before,
Crazy.
1996 whenever it was Kobe Bryant arrived on the scene.
Insane. You have another.
I do actually. Okay, so this one's just incredibly cringy, and it's probably because I'm bringing it up exactly what they were hoping for.
That's exactly what the purpose of this email was.
But it is so cringy. I got this PR email yesterday. Hello, Ben. Exciting news to share in the sports world. Dude Wipes, in partnership with the Cleveland Browns,
come on,
invites you to enter a chance to win the Stop the Streak
oh my God
sweepstakes. If the Browns apparently are have the longest active streak without a kickoff return touchdown dating back to Josh Cribbs in 2009. So
they haven't had a touchdown.
If you stop the Browns streak, you can win $100,000 from Dude Wipes. Stop the Browns streak.
Number 2.
It's pretty brilliant.
It's cringy.
It's cringy, but it's pretty genius. I would give my.
That's what makes me hate it more.
It's
good.
I mean, even I am like, and you know me. This is my genre.
Yes.
Of cleverness, and it is well crafted, well thought out, but it's just, as Jeffrey says, brilliant but horrible.
It's brilliant but horrible.
Horrible, just horrible.
I'd give my kids $100,000 if they stop the streak. At this point, $100,000 a piece if you guys both stop the streak, because I'm tired of it.
I get why Dude Wipes wants to do this. The Cleveland Browns, though, it's officially licensed because they're able to use the Browns logo and name. So they are obviously on board with this as well.
Are you surprised?
I don't know.
I'm
sure they're getting paid for it.
Are you surprised
this isn't the first time they've worked with Dude Wipes? There was another one.
Oh, was there another one before?
Dude Wipes going for 2. For every successful 2-point conversion, Dude Wipes will donate $2,000.
They have a
2,000 wipes just for every 2-point conversion attempt.
They have a Bitmaster on staff, don't they?
For every explosive play, you get a free package of Dude Wipes. Holy crap, dude. Look at that. Holy crap. You guys use Dude Wipes?
No.
All the time.
You do.
All the
you
time.
flush them.
Yeah. Been over this.
You can't flush.
You say that.
Are you on septic tank or sewer system?
I don't know.
He doesn't even know.
I've been using them for 10 years.
You can't.
And there's no other way to go.
You can't. Well, yeah, obviously, it's the best way to go.
I don't have a bidet.
Right. Well, I mean, I carry.
And even with the bidet, probably still.
I carry wipes with me everywhere I go. Yeah. Everywhere.
I'm going to ask Jeeves, are dude wipes
Ask
flushable?
Jeeves is a great new bit.
Yes, dude wipes are flushable.
They say flushable.
Made with 99% water and plant-based fibers.
I feel like if they're not,
they're designed to break down in sewer and septic systems. Unlike baby wipes, which often contain synthetic materials like plastics and polyester that don't disintegrate. Dude wipes are also extra large and come in a variety of scents, including mint chill, shea butter smooth, and herbal relief.
Well, what do you use?
Wow, they have gotten a lot of free advertising on our show.
I go between
morning.
mint chill and the shea butter smooth or whatever.
Sometimes you want a little cooling
never
feeling.
know.
Like, whoo.
Yeah.
Mentholyptus?
Yeah, mentholyptus. Sometimes you're... So...
They say flushable.
They say flushable, but you should not flush them.
I've never had an issue.
I've worked with plumbers. Do they have like lemon lime flavored?
Code
cola?
Is it if you're not eating it, is it a flavor or just a scent?
Do you have cola scented?
I don't think.
All right. So can we flush these or not? I'm getting.
Jeeves says we can.
If Jeeves says it, I trust Jeeves
I've
too.
been trusting Jeeves since 1994.
You know what we have to do? Because we can't flush the baby wipes. But
I
said,
now I've seen other opinions say no matter how much any company claims it's safe, never flush wipes.
Yeah, that Ask Jeeves was brought to you. That answer was brought to you by Dude.
Yeah, they probably have gamed the system on the internet.
So we have to do the wipe, and then we have a little garbage can where you put it in there. And
like a diaper genie.
Yeah, but it's just a garbage can with a bag in it. It's not. I'm the diaper genie because I'm the one that has to go.
Don't all garbage cans are supposed to have bags in them?
Not necessarily.
Not at your house?
No, I mean, if one in my office where I'm just putting paper and stuff, I don't have a bag in there. I just empty that into the deal.
Oh my god!
But the one in the bathroom.
Our beloved TJ says in the chat, I started buying those because my son was wiping his house with hand sanitization wipes and flushing them.
I think that's a bad idea for many reasons, actually. But
I've done it in a pinch, and I carry them. I should have some in here. Oh yeah, look, these wet ones, 99. They burn. These burn.
That does not sound good at all.
It's antibacterial, fresh scent, but it's mostly like you get on a plane, you want to wipe the things down, wipe your hands and stuff. I've had to use these in a pinch. Anyway,
people are calling in. I wonder they've got opinions.
Take a call. I want to hear from a plumber because I know we have a plumber.
I'll get him for the.
All right, just keep rolling. We care.
All right,
we got nothing to do.
We'll get him for the next segment.
All right,
let's
do this.
Do this. Yeah, we got some audio to get.
DD Mega Doo Doo.
Pretty cool moment. Dylan Cruz, who was drafted number 2, I believe. Number 2 again. Brought to you by Dude Wipes. Was drafted number 2 overall behind Paul Skeens. Was making his debut, and it's always fun when these guys get the call up, and the coach tells them, and then they get to call their parents.
Can you hear me?
What's up, Mom?
Hey, honey.
What you up to?
Oh, I'm at Winn-Dixie.
Winn-Dixie?
I'm eating some dinner.
Sweet.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Nothing much. Just hanging out here at the school right now. But you got any plans coming up this next few days?
Absolutely not.
Well, good, because we're going to come watch you play at National Park against the Yankees on Monday.
Oh my God, honey. I'm so excited for you.
That's the best. The best thing. He went to 0 for 3 in his debut with the walk, but that's fine.
Nah, we don't care.
Winn-Dixie is the supermarket, right?
Yeah.
Kind of Midwestern.
Southern, too.
Southern, yeah. You could tell from her accent.
Yeah, you could. What a sweet angel. I love that.
Those
nice. Stories always they always get me every time.
And that's don't and do.
Do this.
Do.
Yes.
Do.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The
We
Fan.
may or may not hear from a plumber coming up. Also, the Padres, A.J. Preller, not done making moves. Did everyone catch this yesterday?
Sure did, man.
Maybe a little under the radar, but someone we may actually see, even on a Padres playoff roster.
Potentially.
May I throw that out there? We will talk about that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before we get to the Padres signing yesterday that you may or may not have missed, we want to wrap up our conversation on moistened wipes.
Yeah,
because,
flush or don't flush.
Yeah, Nate.
Hot dog and sandwich?
Flushable wipes.
Nate, so you work for a plumbing company, Paulie tells me?
Yeah, I'm an owner of a plumbing company in North County. Yeah.
Nice, give it a plug. What is it?
So here it is. If you got to question it's cheaper to pay for a trash bag than it is to have a plumber come out.
That's true.
True.
That's just the bottom line.
Well, what kind of damage are we talking about? Because Paulie told us he's been using wipes for 10 years and he hasn't had a problem yet.
It's how old the house is. It's you're taking a risk, but like I said, if you're questioning, should I do it or should I don't? You just don't go out of your way to put things down the drain.
But I'm not questioning it. Woods is questioning it.
Yeah, he's fine with his decision. I think that his toilet
is like arteries getting clogged.
That's probably it.
And eventually it's just gonna back up, and you're gonna have a plumbing heart attack.
Backed up. Yeah, they get backed up, and then you got these companies that want to come out and charge you $800 to do a hydrojet job because you got 20 feet of wipes that have stayed in that line for the past month.
So if that were to happen and I needed to call you to come fix my plumbing,
the hydrojet. I love that idea.
$800, Paul.
Couldn't I then sue Dude Wipes for false marketing, saying they're flushable wipes?
No, I don't think so. But I would charge usually like $300 to come out and clear a main line. But
that's nothing. $300 for
worth
10 years of that?
10 years of pleasure with a minty, fresh...
Maybe some shea butter? Yeah.
What's the name of your plumbing company, by the way? Give yourself a plug.
Palomar Plumbing.
Palomar Plumbing. I love it.
Alliterative. Good name.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you for calling
in.
in.
Go Padres.
Go Padres. Appreciate you, buddy. I listen, the doctor tells me I got to lower my cholesterol. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it.
Yes, but if your pipes get clogged, you die. If Paulie's pipes get clogged, he calls Palomar Plumbing, pays a couple $100, and then has another 10 years or so of minty freshness.
I like the idea of the hydrojet. I don't want to be on the other end necessarily of it.
Where are those coming out? Who's seeing the other end of the hydrojet?
So they were sued, apparently, Beef says. There was a lawsuit. People tried to sue them, and the court said, just because it says flushable, it doesn't mean anything. Check it out. Interesting. Yeah, I
think it's more like, hey, if you drive 85 miles an hour, your car is going to need a little extra work done on it at some point down the road. But if you drove 65 miles an hour all the time, it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, well, dude, plumbing happens whether you are doing everything, following all the right directions or not.
The safest thing to do is just wipe with your hand. Just wipe with your hand and wash.
What you tell Bo.
That's it. Just wipe with your hand and wash after that. So,
all right. Let's check traffic. When we come back, we'll talk about the move the Padres made and whether it could actually impact the rest of the season and the postseason for your San Diego Padres. Next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Well, guys, no change in that situation. Claremont Mesa Boulevard remains blocked between the 805 and Limerick for investigation of that deadly collision involving a police cruiser that happened late last night. You cannot take westbound Claremont Mesa exit off of north or southbound 805 at this time. Anyone who normally takes Claremont Mesa going to want to consider taking Balboa instead, but give yourself plenty of extra time because a lot of folks are going to be doing the same. Meanwhile, got a hit-and-run crash on northbound 15 just before Arrow Drive. Those vehicles are over the right shoulder. We've also got a collision north 15 at the West 78 connector ramp. And Cordell traffic cam shows a collision at the clearing stage westbound 8 past Greenfield. Everything over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
So saw the tweet during the game yesterday from Kevin Acey of the UT that the Padres had signed to a minor league contract former Colorado Rockies catcher Elías Díaz.
Yes, sir. All-star, by the way.
He was the All-Star Game MVP last year in 2023. Now, there's a reason the Colorado Rockies let him go.
What is the reason? Do we know?
I don't know.
They're the Rockies.
Just to clear room for maybe a young up-and-comer.
Yeah.
Save some money.
He had a 1.1 WAR this season, hitting .270, 693 OPS, 5 homers. Defensively, can throw out runners at second base. I mean, he's not a completely useless baseball player.
Not even close. His catching sliders are through the roof in the red, Benny, and Luis Campusano's are not right now. I don't know what this means. I don't know. I'm assuming. Look, is this he turned down a deal from the Giants. He had an offer from the Giants to go be their backup catcher to Bailey, and he turned it down. He's like, I don't think there's enough PT there for me. So the fact that he turned that down, but signed the deal with the Padres, leads me to believe that there's going to be some opportunity for Díaz here. So, but yeah, Campy's he struggled.
Well, that would be where the opportunity comes, because obviously Luis Campusano has been struggling after kind of a hot start. His average is down to 231, his OPS down to 647, and he's been replaced as the starting catcher by Kyle Higashioka. Now, it's catching, so you still need a backup a couple of days a week, and the question is, are the Padres better off going forward by sticking with Luis Campusano, the guy that they know, the guy that their pitching staff at least has been working with since, spring training or before, or are they better off trying to upgrade that position and injecting some new life behind the plate by bringing up Elias Díaz and kind of getting him set? Now, because he was acquired before September 1st, and he's in the organization, doesn't need to be on the 40-man roster, doesn't need to be on the 26-man roster. He just needs to be in the organization, and he now is by September 1st. That would make him eligible for the postseason roster if the Padres did want to call him up for the playoffs.
Yeah. I just, if you're Campy, you're like, it's not what you want.
Turns up the heat.
Yeah, it turns the heat up for sure. And, Campy's going to get he's certainly going to get some starts this week. I mean, there's no way, you can't put Higgy back in the lineup after catching last night. And Campy catches cease. Caught a no-hitter this year, don't forget. Credit is due certainly to the catcher in that spot. But 100 degrees feels like 100 with humidity. I'm thinking that Kyle Higashioka has probably got his turf shoes on today and has nothing to do with catching.
So Campy actually had a pretty decent month of July. He hit 304 with an 870 OPS, a couple of home runs, but in August he's fallen off the map. 156, 206 on base percentage, 456 OPS, just one home run, just 2 walks. He's 5 for 32 this month, and has really struggled at the plate. And obviously defensively, he's a downgrade from Kyle Higashioka, and Elias Díaz might be the better option. I don't know what the Padres' plans are, and if they're going to try to bring him up quickly. My guess is he'll get some minor league time just to kind of get back into the swing of things, but wouldn't be surprised if in the next week or so that the Padres may make a move and bring up Díaz. This is the time where you're going for it. You're a World Series contender. You don't want to leave anything to hope. Like, well, we hope that, Campy gets it turned around, or you bring in another option that and maybe Campy does get it turned around and we never hear from Díaz.
Sure.
But if he doesn't, you now have someone else beyond Brett Sullivan in your organization that could potentially be someone you could go to down the stretch or even in the postseason.
Yeah, if somebody gets hurt, whatever, it's nice to have. And as like we mentioned, an all-star, former all-star as early as last year, coming in to be another backstop, and he works well with pitching staffs. Benny throws the ball really, really well, has a pretty high percentage of throwing out base runners, blocks the ball very well. So probably just a massively low risk, high reward move for AJ Preller. And he doesn't swing it great. He doesn't swing it great, but he play defense, like we talked about. Some of these guys that come up, the Mason McCoys, bro, play defense, field your position, let the big boppers do what they need to do, and pull your weight defensively. And it's tough to say. I mean, Higgy's catching numbers are really bad, but he also caught Matt Waldron for the entire season. That's going to skew your numbers tremendously. Campusano has had a few little of those kind of brain lapses whiffing that ball the other day. I mean, you never know. Did he get crossed up? You have no idea. But it just hasn't gone the way that I think they expected it to for Campy this year. And he lost his starting job, and now there's another guy knocking at the door. So maybe it's the kick in the ass he needs. He has a monster day today. But you just never know. It's good to have options, and I was impressed with this move yesterday.
And you don't want to get stuck in the situation that Bob Melvin was in 2022 when
you only trust one.
You only trust one catcher in the postseason, and Austin Nola had to catch every single day of the playoffs. He was obviously wearing down by the time they got to the National League Championship Series because just wouldn't put in Jorge Alfaro into any games at that point. So,
and I do think Campy has, I believe, and I checked this last night, I believe he has one more option. So he is able to be optioned down to AAA, get some work, whatever it may be. I wish the best for him. I know he's overcome a ton to get up, to be a contributor this year. Again, caught a no-hitter. Like, this is not a personal thing against Luis Campusano. I do not have a vendetta against him. But if you see that there's a better option that can help you go out and win a World Series, it's a cold business, man. We know that. We talked about Jason Hayward last week. It's the home run of the year for the Dodgers, a massive 3-run home run. And the dude is out of a job 2 days later. And that's the nature of the beast. So it's unfortunate. You hate to see it for Campy, knowing how much he's overcome with his mental health, all of that. To be back and contribute this year, that's a win right out of the chute. That's a win for him. The numbers aren't where he wants them to be, and they're not where the Padres want him to be. So I don't see any real downside to this.
Meanwhile, I got a couple of Jurickson Profar notes for you. Jurickson yesterday 0 for 2, but reached base 3 times, 2 walks, was hit by a pitch again, his league-leading 18th time. Congratulations, Jurickson. I think that's what I saw.
Is he the league leading?
I think he leads
the league.
I thought he
was like third.
I think he's 16th time. 16th time. Leads the National League by 1. Jake Cronenworth got hit for the 11th time. He's 5th in the National League. But
it's funny, they only hit him in the knee.
Also, according to Kevin Acee in his newsletter, today, Jurickson Profar will likely earn an extra $250,000, reaching 546 plate appearances. So once he gets to 550, he gets another $250 in incentive money. He could probably get up to 600 plate appearances, which would give another $300,000, adding to his $1 million base salary, another $1.5 million. So
good.
$2.5 million for one of the most productive players, outfielders in baseball this season.
What a steal.
Has been absolutely fantastic. But we finally have at least an idea from a baseball insider of what it might cost to bring back Jurickson Profar. Jeff Passan this morning at ESPN.com released one of his insider columns about free agents to be. Starts obviously with Juan Soto, Corbin Burns, kind of goes down the list as premier free agents this upcoming offseason. And his very last one says biggest raise due for Jurickson Profar. Says it's the deal of the winter, the $1 million deal that the Padres signed for Profar. So he's hammering the balls, ranked 10th in slugging percentage, leads the National League in on-base percentage at .388 after his 3 on-base times yesterday. It's ahead of Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Marcell Ozuna, Kyle Schwarber. So in total, Profar is having an offensive season right on par with Bryce Harper's. He could spend next season making 15 times what he is this year, is what he said. So I guess Jeff Passan's estimate then would be like $15 million for Jurickson Profar next year.
I think we said
we talked about it last week.
I
We
think
kind of
everyone
estimated
came around like 13 to 15. Yeah.
So we're kind of sort of in line with what Jeff Passan is thinking to try to get something done.
Maybe Jeff
for
Passan
Jurickson
was listening
Profar.
to the round
That's
table.
possible
That's
too.
always possible. He's a huge roundtable guy. I don't know what you do.
Do you do that now? Do you try to get it done before he hits free agency? Do you just let it play out the rest of this season?
I just want to beat the Cardinals tonight. That's all I want to focus on.
Okay, Mike Schilt.
I just want to beat the Cardinals tonight. That's it.
Bill Belichick on to Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati.
On to St. Louis.
Yeah, we're on to St. Louis. Another game 2. I don't know. I tend to think.
I'm sure AJ Preller wants to beat the Cardinals tonight.
Sure.
Elias Díaz is not going to do that, but he also has to think about the future.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't have to.
You can.
But I don't have to.
You're not even playing.
I don't want to.
Doesn't help the team at all for you to just focus on tonight.
I played on the round table last week. I don't know what to give Jurickson Profar. I'm also like of the opinion sometimes we've pulled the trigger way too early on extensions. We have done that. They've done both. They've done a good job at locking guys up, and
it's not too early though. He's on a 1-year contract.
He's on a 1-year deal. I get it. I fully understand, and
hopefully a month and a half, 2 months.
I have no idea what's in Jurickson's head. I have no idea what he wants for his family. He does want to get paid though. Baseball players do not like to work for less than what they're worth. That's one thing I will say.
Jurickson has pride.
Nobody does.
All agree that.
Who wants to work?
We all agree that.
I can only think of a few people that were like, "I'll take whatever you give me just to have the gig," and those people do exist. In our business certainly, but with baseball players, no, they're not gonna take less. Just defer it all, like the Dodgers did. Defer it 10 years down the road.
All right, if you were with us earlier, we talked about the heat in St. Louis and how the corn is sweating and making things hotter. Woodsy is going to add to that discussion with another special song.
Yeah, I'm going to ruin your day, but this is not AI. This is a real song.
This is a real song. Coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
We are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. It's our pleasure to serve 5 days a week for you. Try to give you some laughs, make you think about some stuff, make you mad, whatever you use us for. We're happy that you do. We really appreciate it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And gentlemen, I wanted to read something here before we get to Corn Star, which is potentially, and it's a long list of the worst country songs of all time, and it's a real song.
Before you read this, I want to welcome Sam Levitt to our chat.
Hi, Sammy.
And welcome back from his wedding. He will return
Not
to
his wedding.
The wedding that he attended, yes, over the weekend. He will return to the Padres pre- and post-game show today at 3:45 for Game 2 of the Padres Cardinals series.
It'll be great to have him back. I wanted to start here, though, and it's a little sportsy for the 8 o'clock reset, but I think it made me laugh, and it's painstakingly accurate. And Bob Melvin is not having the greatest time in San Francisco. We remember when he was here, he did his press conference, and he said, I used to look across the field and think, why not me as the manager of the Giants? And they spent a lot of money. They got a lot of guys. Some of those guys they've already moved on from. But Bob Melvin, what's their record right now?
66 and 66.
They are a 500 baseball team. Bob Melvin, what was the Padres record last year?
82 and 80 at the end of the year, yes.
That man has lived in 500 purgatory for about a year and a half. The teams that he's managed have been 500 for 300 some odd games or something. Almost 300 games. Grant Brisbee, who is a brilliant, brilliant writer, covers the Giants, writes for The Athletic. Writes an article last night about, the Giants and being 500. What I wanted to read to you guys was this comment, and I retweeted it last night, and it's so brilliant. Paulie, if you would. Grant said the Giants are two pieces of bread with a single cold-cut slice in the middle. No condiments or cheese. This guy, he quotes that, and then he says, I spent a month in jail about 20 years ago. That's one of the things I remember most. Every meal was exactly the same. Two pieces of white bread with a slab of bologna in the center. Just one slab, nothing more. No mayo or sauce. No cheese, no lettuce. That's a perfect metaphor for the Giants season. Because watching them day in, day out is similar to being in jail in many ways. There's no escaping the mundane boredom of it. Every day essentially feels exactly the same as every other day. You just watch this team because there's nothing else to do. There are plenty of people who constantly talk big about their plans and aspirations when they get out. But it's empty and sad when those dreams usually involve things such as getting cheap drugs. Like how many of us loyal Giants fans try to talk favorably and optimistically about this team. But deep down, we all realize they're beyond hope. If you try wavering from the set routine, it means the guards throw you in your cell, and it gets more boring. Like when the Giants go over 500, then immediately the illusion is broken and go on a losing streak to get back. You don't have access to clocks or calendars, so you have no idea what time or day it is. You just know exactly what's going to be happening, and you have to try and deal with it. Like trying to watch this team every day. Like the 2024 Giants, being in jail is just boring, predictable, and constant. And it hit me in my gut because that was a perfect explanation of what 2023 was. If 2023 was being in jail, he's talking county jail, right? He's talking, I got a 20-day, 30-day stint I got to do. Got a DUI, whatever.
Really, it's just bologna sandwiches every day.
It's not great. It's in this guy's scene, wherever that was, that's what it was. But you guys remember last year, did it not feel exactly like that? And did it not feel like that the first half of this year?
I think it felt more like it this year than it ever did last year.
And
Padres couldn't get to 500.
They could not get there, but you're mired in it. And I loved when he said, if you try wavering from the set routine, it means the guards throw you in your cell, and it gets more boring. How many games last year or the beginning of this year were you like, this is more boring than anything else I could be doing right now? And I just thought, what a brilliant way to sum up what it's like to be a fan of a 500 baseball team.
There's definitely an existential nothingness to 500, an ennui about it. But In one sense.
A what?
Ennui. E-N-N-U-I. It's French.
Oh, yeah.
Ennui.
I didn't know how you say that. I've never heard an actual human use it in a conversation.
But
ennui.
Isn't a 500 team, though, the most unpredictable of teams in baseball? Because any day can be a win
or a loss.
But
that's the same for every team.
For a good team, more of the days are going to be wins. You're more consistent. A bad team, more of the days are going to be losses. You're more consistent. But the 500 team is actually the most circus act unpredictable of teams in Major League Baseball. Are we going to get one of those great wins that gives us hope? Or are we going to get one of those terrible losses that steals that hope away? And you don't know which it's going to be. You just know in the end, you're going to end up back at 500.
It's just such a... and, Cardinals fans going through it right now, right? With this team being 500 or one game below.
Game under now.
Yeah, game under now, thanks to the Pods.
Hopefully they don't climb back to 500 today.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, hopefully they mix up the routine in the jail. I just thought it was such a brilliant way to put it. And I read it over and over, and I went, man, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed what it's like to be a fan of a 500 team. And I tweeted, give this guy a job at The Athletic or give him a Pulitzer Prize.
Now, Tony pointed out they had a no-hitter to cheer for recently.
They did.
It hasn't been a completely pointless season for the Giants. Their roster, though,
we had a Cy Young last year and a Gold Glove.
But last year's Padres roster just had more interesting elements to it. More frustrating, I think, because of that.
Because of the interesting elements.
Giants lineup, it's been a few years now where it just feels like a collection of okay players. They tried to inject some life this year with Matt Chapman, but hasn't really injected much life into that San Francisco Giants lineup. It's a good pitching rotation for the most part, but not great every single day. They just have no signature, Yeah. It's just a team that exists in the Bay Area.
Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so. And I just thought this guy summed it up so well. And speaking of Cardinals fans, I tweeted last night, it looks like baseball's best fans took the night off here in St. Louis because there was nobody at that game.
I didn't see the final attendance yesterday, but they said the previous couple of games had been the lowest in new Busch Stadium history.
I wonder what Old Busch thinks about that.
But
Busch.
How
was Old Busch compared to New Busch?
Now, we were told...
Now, their attendance on... Now, this has got to be tickets sold,
inflated,
not the turnstile number. 28,697.
That's still maybe the lowest, again, ever, because I think the lowest was right around 29 the day before. Yeah. So that may have been a new record low attendance at Busch Stadium.
So I was breaking their balls on Twitter, which I'm known to do. Bit of an irritant. I get it. This gal, Ashley, quote tweeted me and said, dude, our corn is emitting buckets full of sweat into our atmosphere, creating excessive heat warnings in the Midwest today. Temps in the high 90s, feels like over 100. We deserve to watch the game in air conditioning. I just wrote back, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You're absolutely right. And we learned that corn sweats this morning, and that it popped into my head that there's an actual song. This is not an AI-generated song. This was a song that was played on the radio, and it's a real thing.
I wonder what genre a song about corn is coming from.
Probably hip-hop.
Emo.
Yeah.
Yeah, hip-hop.
Maybe the blues.
The blues. I'm going to need you to work up a corn song about...
I'll have it in 30 seconds.
I need a blues song about corn, ASAP. But this is a real... Who is the artist here, Paulie?
This is Craig Morgan.
Craig Morgan.
And the title is Corn Star.
Corn Star. It's the worst thing of your life.
I already hate it.
Here she comes. Oh, here she comes.
She loves green and yellow.
She loves green and yellow. Like John Deere. This is embarrassing.
She's not the kind of girl you meet on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, but you might bump into her on aisle 21 at the Farmer's Feed and Supply, with a bag of seed on her suntan shoulder, cut-off jeans, and a tight tank top with a big red mower on it. Hey, you want to be a farmer, don't it?
No.
You won't see her in the centerfold of Playboy magazine. No. She's too busy getting dirty He's a corn star.
It's unbelievable, man.
The dog of the crop at every county fair, y'all. Corn star. Blue ribbon winner for the last 5 years. They cut a 4-lane highway right through her pasture, blaming on progress and moving traffic faster. But everybody knows the only reason for the road was to see her chug-a-lugging on the top of that tractor.
That's the only reason for the road.
It's real, man. That's a real story. No,
see you're chug-a-lugging on the top of that tractor.
That is absolutely.
She's a corn star.
That's absolutely real. A corn star. Sorry to steal KSON's thunder down the hall. Sorry about that, fellas, ladies. So bad.
Hey, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard.
Are you out of your mind? I want to talk.
Had a bit of a toe tapping beat.
I want to talk. Joey said, "This is your culture, Woods." It's not. I've never farmed anything in my life just because I'm from Texas. I have no. I'm the least. You guys know this. I want to talk about your use of ennui again. Somebody in the chat thought you said on wheat.
I've Jersey Mike's.
This is a corn segment, not a wheat segment.
I've seen that word before. Never knew what it meant. Thought it was pronounced NY.
NY, like the NY Mets or the NY Yankees?
ENNUI. Ennui.
A feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction
Ennui.
Arising from a lack of occupation or excitement.
So you're out of a job?
Ennui.
Ennui. What?
It's kind of a nothingness.
Ennui.
Ennui.
No, no one's ever used that word in a sentence.
People use that word all the time.
Who? French people.
Yeah, among others.
Ennui.
Yes.
Do you know what this is? Today is also National Pots de Creme Day. Do you know what a pot
de creme? Oh, it's pronounced.
Listen to this
pot de creme.
Is it really?
Yes. It's not pot de creme.
It's just pots. Pots de creme.
It's a pot de creme.
National pot de creme.
It's a pot of cream.
Is that what it is?
Translate it, yes. It's a pot of cream.
Do you hear the disdain, Paulie, in his voice?
It's furious.
It's French fancy pudding is what it is. It's a pot de creme. It's what we like to, if you want to eat something that's like pudding, but you don't want to say, hey, I'm serving you pudding for dessert, you say pot de creme. It's much fancier. You can charge more for it as well. If you go to, steakhouse for dinner and they have pudding for dessert, you're going to go, why is this $12? But when they call it pot de creme, you go, oh, yeah, I'll pay $12 for that.
You've never seen that either. He is the fanciest guy I've ever seen, ever. And he was so smug when he said it.
There's nothing fancy about knowing words.
They're French words, though. You're not French. Ennui, pot de creme.
All right, look in the chat. You know that word, right? Jeffrey's word, say...
Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. That's a French word.
I know that word.
It's French for appetizers.
It is.
But we say hors d'oeuvres sometimes. Does that make us too French?
No.
Too fancy?
Right. Fromage is cheese.
It is.
Yep, I knew that.
The French know their food.
They do. It's some of the best I've ever had. Well, thank you for indulging us. We had to get that Corn Star song in. Don't know how well it did on the charts or anything, but it ruined my day.
I'm sorry that it ruined your day.
Blues corn.
Summer sun is beating down. Ground is cracking, fields are brown.
This is so weird how they do it in 5 seconds.
Sweating corn in St. Louis town. Wishing rain would come around.
Is that John Mayer?
Might be better than Corn Star.
Oh, it's way better.
Heat waves rise, the sky so clear. Sweat drips down, got no fear.
They do this.
I don't know. Corn is whispering in my ear.
Corn is whispering in your ear.
Tales of harvest near.
Here's the chorus.
Oh, the corn is sweating out. In the heat, it won't back down. St. Louis fields are golden crowns. Sweating corn, the talk of town.
And our transformation from Padres station to fully AI-generated music station is complete.
Somebody said Ben is a real smug merchant. He is very smug.
It's not my best quality, but it It does pop up from time to time.
At least
not
you
going to deny that.
At least you own. Yeah, as Adam says, Corn plays here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're come back. We got a little bit of an update on the Padres' injured stars: Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Sung Kim, Yu Darvish for Mike Schilt yesterday. We'll get you caught up on where they're all standing, and then Jesse Agler going to join us from Corn Sweatin' St. Louis coming up at the bottom of the hour. First to check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Well, I've always been accused of being somewhat corny, so this seems appropriate today.
Yeah, it does.
The show has turned into corn talk, and it all started with the corn sweating in St. Louis, depressing the attendance at Busch Stadium, leading to heat and humidity for the Padres' 4-game series against the Cardinals.
Well, and then everyone in the chat started doing like Jake Cornenworth.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah, the corn zone. This is a little different than the Crone zone. You got Jake Cornenworth. Adam said Luis Maíz, which I don't really get. Adam Mazer.
Former Padre. Future Padre, Alex Cobb.
Don Corncillo. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Elode Díaz. Mason McCorn.
Oh, I like that one.
That's a good one. Kyle Higashshucker. These are really good. Mike Shuck.
It's Mike Stock? No.
Shuck. I know.
Joe Musgroves.
Adam says Maíz is
Joe
Maíz is
Corngrove.
Spanish for corn. I know that. I know that maize is Spanish for corn. His name's Luis Arise. Not Maíz. Let's just leave the comedy to us, pal. All right? So go approve my vacation, please, for the love of God.
Now, I don't know whether this is accurate or not, Woods, but you see Frank in our chat releasing U.S. Oasis dates.
Wait, where?
It may have just come out, starting, Soldier Field.
Oh, that's what I saw yesterday.
East Rutherford. Okay.
That's the leaked one?
Leaked dates. Rose Bowl in late 2025. No, these aren't earlier, though. These are later in the year.
Yeah, they're later.
Okay, you've seen those? I just want to make sure. All right, a quick update. Padres injuries before Jesse joins us from St. Louis. Nothing hugely unexpected, but Mike Schilt did confirm that Fernando Tatis Jr. is not with the team. He has gone to the team's complex in Peoria, where he is going to be facing young players and minor leaguers and getting at-bats. And after that, they will evaluate. I mean, I think there's a scenario in which he looks good and might be back as soon as next week in the homestand. Now, there's no promises. It just depends on his progression and how he feels at the plate and, what he looks like from the coaches that are there and the reports they're getting. But if he's looks like Fernando Tatis Jr. and he's feeling good, he's pretty much at that stage where they're now looking for the signs. All right, is he ready to come back? So that's exciting.
How tempted are you? if you're there watching and he ropes one into the gap oppo, you're like, I think he's good, man. He looks fine. I mean, what are we looking for?
In essence, that is kind of what they're looking for. Like, if he puts together good at-bats, I mean, you're not going to want to waste a ton of them in, like, minor league rehab. If he's
Schultz on the phone.
If he's swinging and
coach
looking
whatever
good,
down in Arizona, he's like, how's he looking? Just put 2 over the wall.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Pack his bag.
Pack him up.
He had 2 450-foot shots over the wall. We don't want to be wasting these in Arizona or at Double-A or something, so bring them on up. So we'll see how that goes this week.
Like, they actually hit him off Woods, though. Does that count? So, like, does it matter? I mean, it's timing. Obviously, you got to get your timing down. You got to make sure your body's going to respond, and they're going to. I would imagine they would ease him in, don't you think? Somehow, some way.
Well, I would imagine you'll see some DH days when he comes back. But they do need him out in the field as well. At some point,
they do. They absolutely.
They've got a great spot for him in right field now.
Yes.
That they're not getting a ton of production. David Peralta did a nice job, but
I love him.
You're just not. Defensively, you're giving up quite a bit for Tatis.
He was busy last night, David Peralta. He was on the move.
Made some nice plays.
I really, really like that dude a ton. I really, really do. But, yeah, anytime you get a chance to upgrade with Fernando, you do it.
Ha-Sung Kim was back here in San Diego yesterday getting an MRI, but he's expected to join the team in St. Louis today. I would imagine if the results of that MRI are positive, then he's just counting down the string of 3 or 4 more days before he's eligible to return from the 10-day injured list. And then Yu Darvish is with the team and he threw 3 simulated innings on Sunday. We talked about that yesterday. His next step is going to be stretching out maybe to 5 innings, and they're still deciding on whether that's just in the bullpen with the team on the road or if they actually want to send him to the minor league somewhere and make that start. And if that goes well, you could see Yu Darvish back in maybe 10 days or so to the Padres rotation. So Injury updates galore yesterday from Mike Schilt about the 3 key guys who are still not on that roster but could give a nice little lift to the Padres.
Yeah.
Speaking of lift, there's Manny lifting Yu Darvish into the air. I don't know why. I saw that picture yesterday as well, Paul. Why he lifted him up?
Yeah, why not?
He's giving him a big hug.
Give him a hug, dude.
From behind?
Save that. Yeah, he snuck up behind him and gave him a big hug.
Don't injure the man.
I've done that to you 100 times.
Not lifted me up off the ground.
I
He's
can't
a big
lift
guy.
you. Well, you're a big guy too.
Try it right now.
All right, let's see if I can get you. Stand up.
This is going to be really. I've never been lifted so high off the ground
Have
before.
you not? Not since you were a little
Not
kid.
since I was a little kid.
I hurt my
Did
back.
you hurt your back?
I think I'm on I think I'm on the 10-day IL. Yeah, that looks like Manny crept up and just got him. And, they love each other, man. Oh, that did hurt.
You should try that with Jesse. He's a lot smaller than me.
You are dense.
Yeah,
Dense. Like you're not. There's no fat. It's like he's like a tree trunk.
STFatLoss.com. I just kept the good stuff.
Rock hard, man. Woo.
Oh man. All right.
I was supposed to do legs today. I don't think I need to now. I think I'm good. I got one big power lift, and I think I'm fine.
All right. So hopefully Jesse's in some air conditioning somewhere. We will chat with the voice of the Padres coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Well, as I said, I just hope he's in some air conditioning somewhere.
Oh, God.
Jesse Agler will join us right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hold It Contemporary Home. Just a couple things to mention here. Cordell & Cordell traffic cam shows that collision has cleared on eastbound 8 near College. We are still seeing some residual slowing, and you will still find Claremont Mesa Boulevard shut down in both directions between the 805 and Limerick, all due to investigation of that deadly collision that happened late last night. We've also got the westbound Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramps of north and southbound 805 closed at this time. Join Hold It Contemporary Home for their giant tent sale in Mission Valley this Labor Day weekend. Save big on Italian designs, including living, dining, bedroom, and outdoor furniture. Visit holdithome.com for more details. And see you in their parking lot this Saturday through Monday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Don't know how I missed that. That would have been easy.
Floor and Decor. Zach just said, almost laid me out. God, you guys are on fire, man.
Well, as we bring Jesse in, and the reason why everything is so corn-related on our program today is that Woodsy said when he tweeted last night, what happened to all the greatest fans in baseball?
Yeah,
why is there no one at the game? Someone responded that the corn is sweating, and it's creating such heat and humidity that even Cardinals fans deserve to watch at air conditioning, and they're not showing up. And we didn't realize that corn could sweat, Jesse. So that's why you're so uncomfortable when you have to go outside in St. Louis. Good morning.
Good morning. Here's a kernel of information for
you SOB.
They can blame the corn all they want, but I mean, it ain't the corn. This town, and I talked to a bunch of people about it yesterday, seems to have revolted against this team, which is not something I think a lot of us ever thought was possible. And it was wild being in that building last night. And again, they're a 500 team.
Yeah.
Like, they went into yesterday's game with 65 and 65. It's not like they're 30 games out and, it's like, okay, you understand it. Like, that's a 500 team that's on the outside looking in, but like in the general conversation about the wild card, second place team in a division, although well back of Milwaukee at this point. And the fans are fed up. It is really, really wild. And I mean, I never thought I would see that few people in that building for a baseball game.
We found out yesterday, Jesse, that they have not had back-to-back losing seasons since 162-game seasons were invented. So now I'm wondering, maybe they've just been such pleasant baseball fans because they've never had to live through what the rest of us have had to live through.
Right.
And that is, tough seasons consecutively, which is really weird and lucky for them until now.
Yeah, I mean, it's an organization that, and the people who are not from here or don't consider themselves part of the little Cardinal solar system, you sometimes poke fun of the Cardinal way, and the best fans in baseball, all that kind of stuff. But like, they really did for decades have a system and a thing that they, sort of believed in and operated with. And it seems like they've gotten away from that, which is quite a choice. The most successful National League team ever by quite a bit when you really think about it in terms of pennants and World Series. They're not at the Yankee level, but there's nobody else really at their level. And to say, you know what, we're going to be in charge now, and we think we're a little bit smarter, than everybody else who's been here. We're going to do things differently in our own way, and then to have really abject failures coming out of that, and to continue to say, no, this is the way we're going to do it. The Mike Schultz thing still burns the fans here. There's always stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we'll never know about, so I don't want to oversimplify something like that. But, I mean, he was a winner, and that's what it's about, is winning. And, I think the fans here, that was maybe one of the, I don't want to say last straws, because I don't think we're at last straws yet, but that was definitely one of the contributing factors, it seems, for this fan base to kind of look at the people who are running the team and being like, what do you guys got going on here? What's your plan? And then to come out and kind of have the struggles that they have had, it's you're entitled to bad years. Don't get me wrong. You're entitled to bad decisions. Every team has that. But to see this fan base turn on this team in this way, I'm telling you, it's borderline unbelievable for me.
That's wild, man. And you know, I was thinking about it last night, right, when I put the broadcast on television. That it's like one of the first things they said. They were blown away. Mud was like, I can't wrap my head around this. And I did see a lot of the Schilt discourse on Twitter as well after the game of like, hey, man, you guys thought you were smarter than everybody else, and you went and hired Ollie Marmol. He's not very well liked at all in St. Louis. It's just pretty nuts how, you know, what can change in a couple years, Jesse. And then you watch like, man, I always loved Paul Goldschmidt. I really did. What an elite hitter he was. It's wild to watch him scuffle and not come through. Its batting average, I think, with runners in scoring position is in the it's got a 1 in front of it, which is just hard to wrap my head around.
162 going to play yesterday, although as I was saying that, he had an RBI single, of course. And you know, he's the one, you know, that jumps off the page because, you know, you can talk about the front office, you can talk about Ollie Marmol, but if Paul Goldschmidt was hitting around 300, you know, maybe things are very, very different for them. Not to put it all on one guy, but you know, that's a good reminder. And you know, Matt Olson is another one this year who had, you know, MVP, led the league in everything a season ago. Terrible year, and it's just a really good reminder about baseball that, you know, we saw it last year with some of the Padres. You know, you think, all right, slow start, he'll get it going. Sometimes you just don't, and you know, maybe it's injury related. Sometimes there's a mental thing going on. Sometimes it's just one of those years. And yeah, for Paul Goldschmidt to come into play on August 27th, hitting 227 is jarring. You know, I mean, even last year, which was, you know, maybe something of a down year for him, still had more hits than any other Cardinal, still had more walks than any other Cardinal, still had 31 doubles to lead the team. And you're like, all right, yeah, Paul Goldschmidt, 35 years old, he's got it. You know, now he's about to be 37. And is this the end? I don't know. You know, maybe he bounces back and has a great year next year. Because I'm with you. He's always been one of my favorite guys to see. Just pro, great hitter, tremendous player. And to see his numbers where they are is as I said, kind of a reminder that, like, you know, you think you know what you're talking about in spring training in terms of who's going to produce what. But, boy, the baseball season is a mean summer. And you just never quite know.
Talking to Jesse Agler here on 97.3 The Fan. Thanks to Goose for that.
Agler.
Ear of corn. Agler.
I was like, what?
On 97.3 The Fan. Now, it's hard.
That was amazing.
There you go.
Oh, they can't stop.
It's hard to come up with things to say now about Jackson Merrill, questions to ask about Jackson Merrill. He's just continuing to do amazing things. But I thought this one was interesting yesterday. He was facing Kyle Gibson for the second time, homered off him way back in April. And I saw that, you know, Gibson got him on the first at-bat, made an adjustment, and then Jackson comes back and readjusts back in the next at-bat. Really good with the bases loaded, pressure situation. The fact that he has been able to do that, Jesse, so quickly in his rookie year, that's something that you don't often see from players until they get, you know, several years into their big league career. But he seems almost adjustment-proof at this point.
Oh, I hesitate to say that because it feels like a dangerous thing, but it does seem that way. I mean, it's hard to argue with your point. You know, Mike Schultz said, I think it was yesterday, he just has this ability to slow things down. And as you said, it's kind of one of those things we generally say about guys who have, like, you know, been around 6-7 years in the big leagues and have kind of been through all these scenarios and have learned lessons the hard way. And he's out there doing it as a 21-year-old, you know, in August of his first major league season. You know, the thing that impressed me most about that at bat, and you're right, the adjustment was great and kind of playing the cat and mouse game with Kyle Gibson. But it was, you know, he had hit the walk-off home run the day before. You're up in a bases-loaded situation. It would be very easy for any hitter, particularly a young hitter, but really any hitter, to be like, I am going to hit this ball 1,000 miles out to right field. That's what I want to try and do. And what did he do? Just sliced one the other way. And that has been the MO of this team and of Jackson Merrill all year long when they are at their best. And they've obviously been at their best for quite a while now. It's just never trying to do too much at the plate. And it is so impressive to see it, again, especially from a guy that's 21 years old. But to be in that moment, not let it get away from you. And you know what? Perfect. Bing, the other way. 2 runs come in, and that was pretty much it. I mean, it's been remarkable watching the difference in the offensive approach this year as compared to last year, the sort of buy-in that they've gotten from everybody on the roster. You add in guys like Solano and Arise, who are sort of naturally that way, and that's why this team is so much better with runners in scoring position. That's why this team is so much better in, close games, clutch spots than they were a year ago. And to be able to do a literal 180 in a season is pretty incredible. And, endless credit to Victor Rodriguez, endless credit to Mike Schill, endless credit to the rest of the hitting staff and all these players for kind of sticking with the approach, staying disciplined. And, I mean, it seems like I could count on one hand this year the number of at-bats I've seen where somebody was trying to do too much, when last year it seemed like it was happening every single night 4 or 5 times. And, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the record now as compared to this time last year.
The proof is actually in the pot de creme, is what I learned earlier. It's a fancy name for pudding. I learn a lot on this show, talking to Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. So St. Louis into Tampa, got to be your favorite road trip of the year. St. Louis for 4.
Picture
and then,
Jesse about a year ago when the schedule was released. He circled that and goes, I can't wait.
Yeah, toasted raviolis, 100%
You're
humidity.
glad there's no off day here on this one.
Yeah,
just get it done as fast as possible.
Get it over with. I know we ask you every year, and I never get tired of your St. Louis stories. This is a good time for you to catch up on maybe a book you're reading or some YouTubing or some Netflix shows.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I've got a book. I finally started Oppenheimer. I've kind of been putting it off, so I'm making my way through that. I've got a book that I'm making my way through. This is definitely one of those things. This is not a go out and about kind of road trip, particularly, end of August, end of an 18 in a row stretch, 100 degrees with 100% humidity. At least the games in Tampa will be indoors. But this is.
How's the booth?
I did.
Filled with
not
bugs,
great.
if it's like the TV booth.
Yeah,
apparently.
there was lots of bugs in the TV booth.
Here's one. This is very inside baseball, but you guys might appreciate it.
We like it.
It's amazing to me that, they build these stadiums, right? And I'm talking like probably 90% of the booths, TV, radio, both, all over the league. The booth is constructed in a way as if they didn't realize people would be sitting up front broadcasting the game, and I mean by that is that, like, Dave Marcus kind of sits behind us in most of these places. He's got like a little tower, right, with all his equipment. And in the ceiling above Dave and kind of in the back of the booth by the door are like normal fluorescent lights. But then at the desk where we sit, there are no lights. And it's like, what did you think was going to be happening in this room when you constructed this building? And it's like you get your flashlight out, like trying to read stuff. Because it's like, at a night game, it's just dark. And it's like, what were you guys thinking? And it's like, it's amazing to me that place after place. So, no, not a good booth. The view is fine, but it's cramped and dark and obviously hot. So
Dave should have one of those desk lamps for you that he just packs and then sets up right there. And you just, pull the little chain when you sit down and you've got your desk lamp.
That's exactly right.
The little green one, like an old accountant?
Yeah, exactly. Click, click. And maybe a little
visor.
Portable fan, perhaps, for you guys as well?
No. He brings fans for himself. He brings fans for himself. Multiple. He's got angled both ways. Yeah. Just
on him. Yeah, you can't really do it with a mic either. There's one in here, but you can't really turn it on because it makes the mic picks it up. All right, so you guys are going to kill me, but I made an executive decision. We're not going to do song lyrics today. We were going to do Oasis. But I don't want to jinx the man. They just announced they're getting back together. They hated each other for many years. We were going to do an Oasis song.
Seriously?
Yeah. And I just said, you know what?
You spent all week telling us how this is not a dictatorship.
Correct. Here's how it's not a dictatorship. I let Ben pick the word.
And you didn't like my word, so you nixed it.
No, you do your word.
Oh, well, because this doesn't even have the word.
This is not a dictatorship.
All right, fine. Yeah, we're going back. We're going with corn.
Yeah, because we've been talking about corn all day.
Jesse is a civilized man. I'm sure he's gone to some nice restaurants and seen this item perhaps on a menu at a fancy Mexican restaurant, but it's a fungus that grows on corn. That is a delicacy, especially in Mexican cuisine.
You eat the fungus.
You actually eat the fungus. In America, it's just called corn smut. But when you order at the restaurant,
I like that.
It's called huitlacoche.
Huitlacoche?
Huitlacoche. And I will text it to you, Jesse. But
please, yes.
Huitlacoche.
Huitlacoche.
Yeah. Huitlacoche. Huitlacoche.
Sorry about it.
I've actually never heard of that, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I know. You can look it up a little bit.
Or if you just want to work
it's like a mushroom that grows on corn that people eat. It really looks nasty, I must say.
Or if you just want to work in corn smut, that will also work, Jesse. But you pick. I'll give you the option.
It's a fungus.
Corn smut.
Huitlacoche.
Or huitlacoche.
Have you ever actually eaten it, Ben?
I have eaten it.
Of course
yes.
he has.
It's the Mexican truffle, as Ray points out. It's a very high-end gourmet ingredient that you'll find only in the finest restaurants. Huitlacoche is today's incorporator word. Thank you for not dictating me off.
Not
of
a
that
dictatorship.
People in the chat know it. They're coming up with it.
It's not a dictatorship.
We learn things on this program as well. I like to be educational as well as fun.
I need people tweeting me. I need some restaurant recommendations in San Diego where I can get huitlacoche.
There are several. You can go up to maybe Vaga in Lucadia.
What if you hate?
They definitely have some on the menu.
What if you hate mushrooms? I won't eat. I don't like mushrooms.
Well, you probably won't like huitlacoche then.
I love mushrooms.
All right, well then you'll like corn smut. Please just say corn smut. I'm begging you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Jesse, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Bring your gold bond, Jesse. Very warm. Very warm.
Jesse Agler in the lightless booth in St. Louis.
How do you eat it? Off the cob?
Game 2 of the series. No, they'll put it in like an appetizer and like a tamale, or they can do it in different preparations.
Yes. Tamale.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Huitlacoche.
I thought you just ate like an ear of
No,
corn
you don't.
that had corn
You're
smut
gonna
on
want to
it.
cook it, and you're gonna do like with a mushroom. I mean, you don't like raw mushrooms. I don't like.
I don't like any mushroom.
Well, you don't like any mushrooms.
Well,
All right, Paul's got the Reindl Report. Final hour of Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. a good time of the year on the sports calendar. Welcome back. Final hour of Ben and Woods.
It is a good time of year.
It is.
Yeah, college football starting.
College football week 1 this week after the week 0 games earlier. Got the golf playoffs wrap up this weekend with the Tour Championship. Good luck to friend of the program, Xander Schauffele, who will start in second place. Remember, it's the staggered start. So Scotty Scheffler, who's number 1 in the FedEx Cup standings, is at 10 under to start the tournament. Xander Schauffele is at 8 under to start the tournament in second place. Then Hideki Matsuyama will be third at 7 under, and Keegan Bradley, who won this weekend at the BMW Championship, which was a pretty cool story, actually, Woods. He'll start fourth at 6 under. Keegan Bradley was the last player to get into last week's tournament. Only the top 50 made it in, and he was at 51, and he was done with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. His round was over, so his season was over until Tom Kim finished bogey, double bogey, bogey to drop out of the top 50 and put Keegan Bradley in at number 50. And then he used that opportunity, went last week, won the tournament in Colorado at a course that was over 8,100 yards long, but with the elevation, they were like hitting the ball 400 yards off the tee. And won the tournament, and now he's got a legitimate shot to win the entire FedEx. Now, remember, he's the Ryder Cup captain next year at Bethpage Black, and probably played his way onto the President's Cup team as well, which is coming up in Montreal here in a few weeks. He'll certainly be a top captain selection for that tournament coming up. So you got the golf. Obviously, the NFL season starts next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday.
The preseason's over, though, so they got the kickoff game with the Chiefs taking on. Who are the Chiefs playing in the first game this year?
I don't even know.
They've got the Thursday night opener in Kansas City. And then Friday night next week, they're playing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That second game. And then the first full weekend Sunday games with the Red Zone and everything kicking off a week from Sunday. So... And then, of course, baseball pennant races, and
it's crazy that
it's a busy time on the sports calendar right now.
I mean, this is the year of the playoffs in college football.
Ravens and Chiefs.
Ravens Chiefs, that would be a good one. This is the expanded playoffs this year. You've already had a top 10 team go down.
Ravens.
Chiefs Ravens. Yeah, we just said that. He just said that.
It's fine. He was looking it up.
He was asking me. I looked it up.
Ravens, by the way. Top 10 team already goes down in Florida State. But yeah, man, you got 12 teams basically competing this year.
But you know what's great about that? Florida State, remember last
year? They're not dead.
They won all their games. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now they can lose, get bodied.
Yes.
Still come back, win their conference, and go to the playoffs.
Correct.
12-team playoffs.
You're not dead.
You shouldn't have a system where you lose 1 week in Dublin, Ireland, and your season is over. Which last year, if they did this last year,
was over.
Their season
was over anyway.
Was actually over. It was over even though they won every game. We didn't know it at the time, but it turned out their season was over before it even started because you're Florida State, you win every game, and you can't even get into the playoff. That's a problem. That's a problem for any school.
I'm excited about it, man.
So new format, I think, is exciting for college football, and it's just a better. People go, I do not understand the argument. You're cheapening the regular season by making 12 playoff games. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. If Florida State was out of it, you just made their next 11 games meaningless and irrelevant.
Literally.
Now, they still have tons to play for. That enhances the value of your regular season, doesn't cheapen it at all.
100%. 100%. It's not baseball. You know what I mean? It's different. It's different entirely. And now, like you said, you go and win your conference, you get into the playoffs.
Now, it was a conference loss.
It was a conference loss.
Way to start the season, but you can still come back.
Absolutely.
One is possible.
Absolutely.
I doubt Georgia Tech's going unbeaten all the way through.
No, they're not.
So, anyway, that's some of the things going on right now in the world of sports. For some other headlines, let's turn things over to Paulie and the Reindl Report. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Boom.
just wanted to congratulate you guys. I think we have once again made sports radio history. The only radio show in America to have not brought up CD Lamb and his lockout-ending contract extension.
I can't say his name without saying CD's nuts every time. I'm 6 years old at heart. Congratulations to the Cowboys, CD Lamb, for that big old deal.
4 years, $136 million deal. That'll end a holdout right there.
Holdout. Yep.
And that makes him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
Wow.
You can't even compare quarterbacks with other players anymore because they make so much money. Who's been one? Justin Jefferson?
Yes.
Is one.
$35 million a season.
CD Lamb is two.
He was looking at the 5th year of it was an option of his rookie contract. He was scheduled to make $18 million.
He wanted a new deal.
Yeah. And don't really
Jerry Jones provided.
Yes, he did.
I don't follow a ton of the NFL, but I know Jerry Jones was asked about it pretty much every day, and he seemed like, I'm not worried about it. Not worried about the holdout. We're going to get this done. He's not going anywhere.
He actually said, there it was. Glory hole is what he said.
There it was. Glory hole.
Coming to the office on Monday.
Spanking himself.
There it was. Glory hole. One of the greatest drops of all time.
He's not the only Cowboy who needs to get paid. Dak Prescott also needs a new deal. Doesn't have one yet.
Yep.
Will that be next, or did they just give all their money to CeeDee Lamb?
I think the Dallas Cowboys will be fine. They're going to need to do some roster manipulation, though, as all teams in the NFL do. You have to get very creative. Capology and all that is very creative in the NFL. I don't pretend to know anything about it.
Jerry's still technically their GM as well.
He's still technically alive as well. So
it's the owner and the GM. You don't see that much. I mean, that's rare.
There's a reason for it.
Al Davis did it.
There's a reason for
Jerry does it. I mean, if you bought a baseball team,
I would turn over the reins.
You would not want to GM it yourself.
I would turn over...
baseball. You know ball.
Bro, I'm not at that level. I would turn over every bit of the reins. I would sit in my suite.
You would not meddle at all.
No meddle. I would be down there...
Really? If you were the owner.
If I was the owner?
You wouldn't meddle at all.
No, unless you would consider hanging out and slapping butts, meddling. I would be down there like hugging my players, saying what's up to the guys, but I would not meddle in like the decision making. Ever. Because I'd hire somebody that could do it.
But you'd set a budget at least.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my budget would be whatever I could afford. Like, whatever you can spend, spend. But I would not meddle in the game, the day-to-day decisions.
Curious how many NFL owners really do meddle with their team. I'm thinking I started thinking about owners. I was thinking NBA owners like Steve Ballmer and Mark Cuban. Those are very colorful guys. They're very energetic, and you see them all the time. But I wonder how much they actually meddle with
in basketball and football, you got the essentially hard salary cap sports. So you're not even setting a budget, really. You're giving someone full authority just to put together the roster based on how much they're allowed to spend. In baseball, the owner at least has to come in and authorize, all right, I guess we can spend a little more for this guy, or I want to keep it at this level. I mean, the owner has to say something about
both ends of the spectrum in baseball, whether it's Steve Cohen, Peter Seidler types, or
John Fisher,
Dick Manfart.
Yeah. They do set the tone for their organization more than I would think an owner in the NBA or NFL does.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think, you'd like to, you'd like to think that you wouldn't, but I also don't think it's bad if you're the owner to check in with your manager once a month and say, hey, what's going on with this guy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's meddling.
No, Peter Seidler did it well.
Yeah, he did.
Had check-ins and
all the time.
Just conversations about life.
I also wouldn't disappear. I'm not the Mariners ownership where
I'm in Japan.
We write the check and I'm done. Like, send me my checks. I would be involved because I would love the team. I wouldn't buy a baseball. I wouldn't buy anything unless I didn't love it. Love it.
Not for that price.
Not for that price, right? Knowing what you can make back, I still wouldn't, and what its valuation would be. I mean, I would absolutely have to love something to buy it.
All right, moving on.
Like those T-shirts you buy sometimes late at night.
Which T-shirts?
Which is the one that you were wearing last week? That you bought on Ambien.
Which one?
I don't know. You have so many.
I have so many Ambien
purchases.
So you didn't have to love it to buy it. You either have to love it, or you have to be on Ambien.
On Ambien
to
get it. Yes, that's exactly right.
I just bought a baseball team on Ambien.
Good luck. All right, so in college sports, we're still kind of navigating the NIL life that we now live in. It's just getting crazier every day. I was reading a story yesterday about how the headline was like how Ohio State built their $20 million championship or bust team, and just all the money that goes in to the NIL. But what I hadn't really thought about was how NIL also is trickling down into high school sports. There is a mom in North Carolina. Maybe she's listening. We're very big in North Carolina. And her son has committed to play for Tennessee. He's a quarterback. Okay. He is the number 32 ranked player in ESPN's junior class, and he's the number 4 passer in his class. And she is suing the state of North Carolina, saying that they put in a rule that high school kids cannot profit off of their name, image, or likeness, in which he's had several opportunities as a high school player already. And she is arguing, or her attorney is arguing, that NIL was put in place to promote athletes and allow them to cash in on their success so far, and it's not allowing high school students to make any money.
I would like them to be able for Bo to cash in on his NIL Little League.
I think she's got a case.
I do too, actually.
They adopted this policy in June, which blocks public school athletes from making money through the use of their name, image, and likeness.
Was there ever even a rule? The only rule against it in high school was that if you were taking money in high school, you couldn't get a college scholarship anymore. But now that there's NIL in college, there shouldn't be anything stopping high school kids from taking advantage of their name, image, and likeness.
Right.
Her attorney says the State Board of Education was asked to create rules allowing public high school athletes to use their NIL. It was not empowered to ban it. We look forward to correcting the State Board's error and to help our client benefit from the incredible value and opportunities his hard work and commitment have created for his name, image, and likeness.
I mean, in high school sports, you already have, private schools that recruit top athletes to come and play. That's been going on forever. There's no change. So, if someone wants to also have them sponsor their tractor dealership or something, then I guess they can do that if they wanted to. I don't know what the return is. I mean, are you going to buy something because a high school football player is endorsing it, Woods?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So I don't know where. There's a ton of market for this.
Well, hang on, though. All right, so the Irish have a kid that's still in high school. Deuce Knight is one of their recruits, and he was showing all his stuff. I'm like, if he had a T-shirt, I would buy it. So I just changed my mind. I think I absolutely would. I think I absolutely would. Deuce Knight, I love this kid. He's on Twitter. Follow him. If he had a Deuce Knight Shamrock shirt, I'm all
over. If they
over.
sell 1 million T-shirts, if they sell 5 T-shirts, whatever.
They should be allowed to.
Let them do it. I have no problem with that, especially with what we're seeing now in college. I think that's unfair.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, finally, I think this is unfair.
Oh, boy. I can't believe this.
This is kind of echoing something we talked about maybe last week. I told you I watched that new Twisters movie. It wasn't the sequel. It was the remake, I guess, a reboot, a reboot. It was terrible. It was not good. And, apparently we're just out of ideas, and we're just going to...
We have been.
We've been
Here's
here for
Corn
a while.
Star from Ben and Woods.
Yeah, we'll make our own Corn Star. So I got a new movie coming out. It is a remake of the 1987 classic La Bamba.
La Bamba!
They are remaking La Bamba.
La Bamba was a good movie.
La Bamba was a brilliant film.
Yeah.
Brilliant film.
Was that Lou Diamond Phillips?
Why aren't we just leaving this alone to stand on its own 2 feet as a really brilliant film? Isai Morales as Bob, one of the best characters I've ever seen, ever in my life. Not my first or my last.
Variety had a story
amazing.
Yesterday. Mucho Mas Media and Sony Pictures have teamed up to develop a remake of La Bamba based on the life of rock and roll legend Richie Valens.
I'm going to watch it. I will absolutely watch it.
The new one?
Yeah, because I want to see how bad it is. But it was such a good movie that you don't need to remake all of these. Also, is there such a fervor for Richie Valens and the Big Bopper and all of that? Is there such a fervor now in 2024?
I'm curious which band is going to play the music. Because remember, Los Lobos killed it when they took the mantle of having to play La Bamba for the movie, and it made the song popular all over again. What was that, late 1980s when that came out?
85, Paulie said.
85? 87.
87.
Oh, 87.
Yeah. So now you're going to need a new band to be the new Los Lobos that plays the song again for the new La Bamba movie.
And it's...
Luis Valdez, he was the writer and director of the original movie.
Okay.
He's on as an EP for the new one. I have Oscar-nominated writer Jose Rivera to write the script.
Maybe a modernized...
And that's about all we know. Don't know when. Don't know who's starring in it. I would imagine Glenn Powell, since he's in every sequel.
Glenn Powell is in it as Bob. You got screwed, blued, and tattooed. I was a kid. It came out in 87. I was 12.
It was -3.
It came out, and I was 12 years old. And when Bob, his brother, came on the scene, I was like, whew, that guy's as edgy can be. Starting fights at the dance. I mean, taking him down to TJ. Like, it's the spirit journey he goes on. I mean, it's such a great, great movie. I'm going to show my kids that movie, like, this weekend. It's so good.
People got mad yesterday when I spoiled the end of season 3 of Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
if they haven't seen it yet, am I going to spoil La Bamba's ending?
And the plane crashes. They all
see, now, Woods, you just gave it away.
The day the music dies.
Everybody dies.
Yeah.
At the end of La Bamba.
You know who didn't get on that plane?
There was someone, right? Yeah. Who? Someone.
Waylon Jennings.
Wow.
Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on that plane, and I think he was ill.
So he's the Big Bopper.
Yeah, Buddy Holly.
And
Richie Valens.
Brutal.
Yeah. Brutal day for the music world. The day the music died. And Richie Valens, the movie about him not wanting to fly and being afraid of flying and all that was all real. And Waylon, I think he was ill or gave. Oh no, they did the coin flip thing
in the movie.
And that's really what happened. He lost the flip. And he's like, damn it. All right, I'll ride the bus. Waylon Jennings, we would have been deprived of Waylon Jennings for all that time like we were the rest of those three guys. So, all right, I'm going to watch it. I'll see what happens.
Okay.
Maybe I do have a fervor for La Bamba in 2025.
And that's our Reindl Report for a Tuesday.
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truthing you were gone.
That means? I know what that means. That's our sounder. Yeah, if you were paying attention earlier. Now's the time to call 833-288-0973. Your chance to win tickets to Kansas at Humphreys on September 22nd. Paulie will answer those calls during the break. I had a lot of Twitter interaction the last couple of days after an idea, and I have no idea how serious this idea was floated, about a major sporting event coming to San Diego. Did you see this?
I saw this. I saw some people were mad at you, and some people agreed
with me.
Yeah,
but,
this is interesting.
I will bring that up when we come back with Bennett Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. I know some of you are going to be mad about this, but this contest was conducted fairly and equitably. And Diesel called in and won the Kansas tickets.
Paulie also made Diesel a mod in our chat yesterday.
But he's unpaid. He's not an employee of Odyssey. He's fully eligible to win, and he's the one who called in successfully and won. It would really be unfair not to give him the tickets. He was the rightful winner.
Yeah, he was the
tickets,
right winner.
And there was no reason to exclude him from the prize. We didn't give him any favorable treatment. I mean, you did, making him a moderator, but that doesn't count with this. This is.
I asked the dictator. I'm like, should we just make him a mod?
Small break. I said, go ahead. I like to empower my people to make their own decisions.
We'll keep listening for the sounder. We'll have another pair of tickets to Kansas to give away tomorrow to Humphreys. You can get your own tickets, of course, to Kansas at Humphreys at Ticketmaster.com. Speaking of tickets and events coming to San Diego, so I saw this tweet over the weekend from Adam Stern. He's a motorsports reporter for Sports Business Journal. It says San Diego has emerged as one of the cities where NASCAR is interested in hosting a future street race, per sources, as the sanctioning body continues to explore the concept across America.
All right, so
like a F1 Vegas?
Yes.
So I saw your reaction, and I saw yours on Twitter. Vegas and San Diego are not the same. We could do this and make it incredible and cool. Again, not an F1 guy, not a racing guy.
Vegas looked incredible and cool.
But the stories that you told when you came back from the locals, the cab drivers, the Uber drivers.
Every single person was
like,
this
is a nightmare.
Out of here.
So I think, but you do that and you learn from it, right? And learn not to make the same mistakes. I personally think it would be awesome. I think it would be awesome, awesome, awesome. It looks cool. It sounds cool. This is a great city. We don't get enough attention as far as I'm concerned. So I think, now I say that.
Can they race over the Coronado Bridge? Because that would look
would look really cool.
That would look really cool.
Listen, and I do understand this. I also say this from the perspective of someone who lives somewhere that is nowhere close to where any of this is happening. Right. I will not be inconvenienced in the slightest.
That was my biggest concern. I kind of said hard pass. I want to keep an open mind because there were some people who responded to me and said it won't be like Formula One. They had to close down the strip for months to repave it, make it okay for open wheel racing. This is different. These are stock cars. These are NASCAR.
It's not F1.
Okay. No, this is NASCAR.
NASCAR.
And they said it won't be nearly as involved in terms of what they have to do. Obviously, they'll have to shut down some streets for a couple of days to set up the course, and like they do with the Rock and Roll Marathon and everything. But we get through that okay.
Yeah, you get through it.
I want to try to keep an open mind, but I'm really curious as to what San Diego really feels about this. There are NASCAR fans here, obviously. The home of Jimmy Johnson, who is one of the legendary kings of the sport, 7-time NASCAR Cup champion from San Diego. We've never had a race, obviously. The closest was Fontana, which they don't do anymore, so Southern California has really been cut out of the circuit. But I know tons of people who would go up every year, went up to that race in Fontana and are big fans. And I just don't know. Would there be a lot of interest if a NASCAR street race? Now, some of the NASCAR fans go, the street racing is kind of boring. It's not like F1. It's better on an oval than it is on the street races. Those tend to be not great races. They've done this in Chicago the last couple of years. Apparently, it didn't make them a ton of money, so they're kind of looking at other cities to potentially explore as street racing venues.
So this is the funny part. So the NASCAR fans that literally will sit in the stands and watch these dudes drive in circles for hours say that a street race is too boring?
Apparently.
Too many turns?
Somebody make me understand.
Not enough passing?
I just want to understand that. Because I've been to NASCAR race. It's loud. It's fun. Because I had a 24-pack of Coors Light in the stands and our shirts off.
Do they just give them to you as you walk in?
You got your ticket. Here's your case of beer. No, you just bring your own beer. We had a blast. It was one of the better days I can remember. But after a while, it's a bit tedious, I'd say, a little monotonous. But I think, those people would say watching a baseball game is tedious.
So nothing in the story said where exactly they would want to put the course. I would think, somewhere in the city,
it would be the
downtown, Harbor
Red.
Drive. Where are we thinking that we're going to put this race?
Again,
what are we shutting down? For how long? What time of year is it? There's a lot of unknown details that you just give me some trepidation before we just jump into this thing.
Like I said, won't inconvenience me in the slightest. It's easy for me to say. I'm not saying to be a jerk. I'm saying it's easy for me to sit in here and go, yes, that's good for the city, more eyes on San Diego, et cetera, et cetera. But, yeah, man, I mean, if you live downtown or something, you're like, all right. Like, if it's downtown, you're like, whew. And, like you said, you have to put up with it with the Rock and Roll Marathon and all the other things they shut it down for. But I think it would look pretty cool. And it, obviously being here, living here, I'd watch the hell out of it, wouldn't you guys? You'd finally get me to sit down and watch a race.
I've driven on that street. I've driven on that street. Yeah, I know that corner. Yeah, I tried to. I had parallel parks there once.
So good.
Jay in the chat says, let's get Kelly Danick's thoughts on this.
He also says Bennewood's pace car. Oh, I like that idea.
Another idiot just spun out. Fifth into the harbor.
She should broadcast that.
The ladder and the roads on this NASCAR race.
She should absolutely be the broadcaster for it.
Idiot left the checkered flag.
That's great. All right. Well, I want to know more about it, certainly.
Yeah.
But anything that I
don't think this would be until at least 2026 if it did happen.
All right. Yeah, that's not promised to any of us, so maybe we just relax.
Anyway, I was surprised at the amount of passion, though, that I got in terms of the responses, both pro and con, for a potential NASCAR street race in San Diego.
This is when we should have touched base with Italian Paul, who loves racing more than anything in the world. He said he sent me the story and said, if only I was doing the show tomorrow. And had he done the show tomorrow, he would have done 20 minutes on this race. So,
oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
The Italian Reindl Paul report would
correct.
have been all about this NASCAR race maybe coming to San Diego.
Yeah, F1, I think it would be really cool, but if you don't have I don't know why. I mean, that looked cool in Vegas. I know it was a nightmare for them.
I'm curious to see how it goes round 2 in a couple months.
I always get the sense that there's like almost zero overlap between F1 fans and NASCAR fans.
Zero, right?
Like,
you're one or the other.
None at all. Like, F1 fans are wine and cheese, and I mean, it is absolutely like, it's like America's Cup fans. You have to be super rich to be interested and involved in F1. I mean, they have fans, obviously. And then NASCAR is the complete other way. As you said, 24-pack of Coors Light, shirts off, in the sun, and enjoying Porn Star on the radio. Plot twist. It begins on Highway 101 in Encinitas. Now, how do you like that?
Yeah.
You like that idea?
You know what? I'm fine with it. I'm not fine with it. I'm not going to be a NIMBY. I'm not going to be a NIMBY. Is it good for you? Is it good for the city? Great.
I don't know if it is or not.
I think it'd be awesome.
Is it bringing in tourists? I have no idea.
Don't we like tourists sometimes?
We do.
Right.
We do.
So, I don't know. I'm in. Let's do it.
Wiz is in. NASCAR race in San Diego. All right, we'll come back. Final segment of Ben and Woods coming up. Take a look at today's matchup. Can the Padres make it 3 straight wins? Open their road trip with back-to-back victories in St. Louis. We'll talk about that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com. I have a question for both of you, and you can think about it for a second while we check traffic. But the question is, have either of you ever been cut from like a sports team that you were trying out for?
Ooh. All right.
Answer that when we come back here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, it's been a busy morning, and we're not over it yet. First off, let me just mention, you're still going to find Claremont Mesa Boulevard blocked in both directions between the 805 and Limerick, all due to investigation of that fatal collision that happened late last night. You cannot take the westbound Claremont Mesa exit off of North or southbound 805 at this time. Now, we've got several other problems working. Southbound 5 before SeaWorld Drive, there is a collision blocking middle lanes. And South 5 Coastline before La Costa, reports of a collision. Looks like several vehicles involved in this one, blocking the two left lanes. Just as bad on that southbound 15 in the North County, right before Rancho Bernardo Road. Vehicle went up the right shoulder embankment. Then further down, before Scripps Poway Parkway, got a crash blocking the HOV lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I bring up the question because today is the day that NFL rosters are being reduced from 90 to 53, which is, they used to do it in stages. Now it's all one day. Multiply that by 32 teams. There's nearly 1,000 people who are going to be cut from their NFL teams today.
I had no idea they did that. I thought it was still week by week.
No, it's just 90 to 53, and today's the day. You got to set your roster. Now, a lot of them will be signed to practice squads, whatever. But for many of them, the dream ends today. And I was wondering if either of you guys ever had the experience of like trying out and a coach had to tell you you didn't make the squad.
It did happen to me, and it was devastating.
It's a bad feeling.
Played freshman year of high school, made the team, right? JV, right, as a freshman. All right, we got a radio show going on in here.
You're the one who gets hot.
It's
and
100
opens
degrees
the door.
in
It's
here.
not.
I don't know what to tell you. It's 100 degrees in this room.
Plenty cool in here.
Adam walking by giving a tour to Braden, who works here, so I don't have any idea what. Here's the studio. That's a morning show on right now. God. So I make the team. Make the team as a freshman, and then so we had two things you could do after your freshman year. You could go play American Legion ball, or you could play like city ball, where your parents stroke $150 and you just go play in the city league against your buddies. American Legion ball was where the real G's played. I mean, like, they had the sickest uniforms. They traveled a little bit, and I remember going out for Legion ball with a bunch of my high school buddies, and I remember having the worst tryout that a human being could have. Willie Mays Hayes fouling the ball straight up into the cage, and then you do that twice, and the meltdown comes. You're like, oh my God, I can't hit. Booted a couple balls at third, didn't pitch well off the mound, and I didn't make the team. And really, they only took like 2 or 3 guys, and the real G's on our team made it, and I didn't. I had to go play city ball, and I was devastated. It made me work my ass off that summer, and I went to a baseball camp and came back and had a monster sophomore season, and then we moved my junior year, and so I was kind of screwed. But I'll never forget that feeling. Yeah, Johnny asked if I got the yips. Yeah, man. I mean, I 100% did. Dude, the funny thing is, I can remember it like it was yesterday, and I'm probably, how old am I? 12, 13? I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the feeling of
36 years later.
I remember getting in the box and feeling fairly confident, missing the first couple or fouling the first couple off, and then just having a terrible, terrible approach to hitting, and I just got domed out, man, and I was a wreck. And it was a really bad feeling. That's the only thing I almost
certainly should have been cut from my 7th and 8th grade basketball teams because it was not very good. But they always had a spot at the end of the bench for me to play and just kind of sit there and be there at practice.
How many minutes did you get? That's
in the
big
season.
Thing.
Like per game?
Yeah.
Like 3.
3 a game?
If it was a blowout going at the end. I had my one game 8th grade, we were way ahead. So I got in. I got to play like 10 to 15 minutes at the end, and I think I scored like 7 points.
Look at
and
you.
Like,
7.
That was like my career high. It was my best game ever.
It's probably more than I ever scored in YMCA ball, man.
I don't think I was ever cut. I didn't make all-stars in Little League, but there was not like a tryout for that. I just found out I didn't make it. I expected to make it, and that was devastating that year.
Literally, the first all-star game I ever made was an adult ball all-star game. I'm not joking. The first one I never made. I was such a bad player growing up because I didn't get started till I was 10. And I'd never thrown a ball, caught a ball, hit a ball. I was 10 years old. I was way behind the 8 ball there.
Yeah. At least it wasn't was I the tallest kid? No. In 7th and 8th grade, I was on the shorter side on my team. Yeah, I played guard with no ball handling or shooting skills.
That's really what you look for in a guard.
I'm actually surprised you. I'm shocked you weren't cut then.
Yeah, me too.
Paulie, you ever get cut or not make a team?
No, I never got cut. My high school at least, we had so many, varsity, JV, and freshmen. So you kind of already knew. It was like
you know where your role is.
You show up to tryouts, like you kind of knew where. Like yes, of course,
you're being assigned somewhere.
The elite freshman could make it to JV or even varsity.
I remember a kid on our JV team. 2 kids got called up to varsity. And that was devastating. Our freshman year, our season's over. 2 kids are like, hey, we're going to bring so-and-so. And you're like, you guys are going to varsity? You're like, oh, my God. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and they just get to suit up.
They suit up and barely play. But, I wasn't one of those guys.
So, you knew as a freshman, you're like, cool, I'm just going to be on the freshman team or whatever. I quit baseball my senior year. I didn't like the coach. Didn't have any friends on the team anymore. They were all older and graduated. So I gave up baseball my senior year. I played tennis. And I used to just kind of hit the ball around with my friends on the side. I had a couple friends that were pretty good. And I just decided to pick up a racket like a week before tryouts. And I tried out. And they said, like, as a senior even, if you don't make varsity, you can play on JV. And I'm like, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna
really?
I'm not going to be a senior on JV.
Really? Even though you'd never played before?
I didn't
think that'd be cool.
So I made varsity. I played doubles.
That's amazing.
And it was actually a ton of fun. I was like, I should have just done this all 4 years. Like, it was a blast. But that was like the real nervous, like, you got to go into school early the next morning after tryouts and go to the locker room. The sheet is printed on the door.
You're sick.
You can see it, and you're just walking down the hall. And it's like, dude, even if whether I was confident or not, you were terrified.
That day, I remember calling my dad. He was at work, and I made the team. And the moment of pride, he seen me working hard to make the JV team. Took me out. We went to Chinese dinner. These are moments, and you're talking years and years ago. I don't remember what we did on the show yesterday. Gun to my head. Those moments have stuck with me forever. And look, I think it's important like that to go through that. Now, because it really motivated me to get better. It really did.
I've been on the other end of the cuts. I coached high school baseball for 6 years at Grossmont.
Cutting kids is tough.
We got a pretty good freshman class every year. I coached the freshman team.
Yeah.
And, dude, I mean, Joe was just getting into the big leagues then, and all the kids from middle school in that area wanted to play at Grossmont. It was either Grossmont or Granite, and then a little bit of Helix. But I got good ball players every year, man.
Did you?
And I'd get like 30 kids, and I would have loved my coach. The varsity coach told me, keep as many as you can.
Yeah, of course.
Because we don't want them to lose interest, even if they're not going to play much. But, dude, I had to cut a couple of kids. I'm like, it's a safety issue. You're going to get hurt, or you're going to hurt somebody else.
You got no business. Did you guys ever have
those kids start crying, man.
Did you have the parent? We had one. He didn't make the team. I remember his name was John. And he didn't make the team. And his dad, the next day, was in the coach's office. Okay. And then it was, John's going to help out at practice and do that bit. And I said to myself, even in as a freshman in high school, I said to myself, that's not right. Like, he didn't make the team, but he's out here. And I was like, I liked the guy well enough. But it was also like, bro, your dad went in and campaigned for you to be here. How do you go?
Now, did he ever get into games or anything?
No, he wasn't on the team.
He's willing to put in work and be there and help the team, then I don't have a problem with that.
It was just really weird, man. And there's so many politics involved with it. There still is. But, I think that's good for kids to remember that trauma.
Brandon wants to know, Ben, how did you do with the golf team? In high school at Torrey Pines, I kind of made the team, but I was on the B team because we had so many good golfers. But there would be matches. It's like the non-travel squad. we'd occasionally play against some of the lower level teams because they didn't need their best players every time. And then in college, my tryout was like 1-9 hole. They were so desperate for players. I didn't even know they
could I have made it?
You might have, actually. They were so desperate. I was in borrowed shoes and borrowed clubs, and I shot a 42, and they go, "Oh, you're on the team. Well, you are on the team." I go, "Oh,
My high
cool."
school golf team had like 3 guys on it. You would have
no idea that I could play college golf.
Look at me.
You can.
College golfer.
Look at me, college golfer. All of a sudden, I didn't even have a golf shirt with me. I had to buy one at Golf Mart.
That don't lie to me.
I know. No, freshman year in college, all I had was T-shirts, and I was like, I need to buy a golf shirt to go try out for the golf team, and borrowed shoes and clubs.
That's amazing. And look at you now.
And there, look at me now.
Playing club championships at the GOAT.
Not well, though, still. Tonight, Padres,
let's go.
Late afternoon, early evening matchup. Game 2 of 4 against the St. Louis Cardinals. 3:45 Eco Water SoCal pregame show. Welcome back. Sammy Levitt today, 4:45 first pitch. Dylan Cease on the mound. He's certainly not been bad. But he's coming off a loss in his lost 2 of his last 3 starts.
Uneven a little bit.
I mean, he's given up 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 2 earned runs.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, it's not bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the 1 inning start to start his month. So he's got a 3.5 ERA. Ted's given up 4 unearned runs, but obviously, defenses let him down a couple of times. Had 5 walks 2 starts ago. That was against the Rockies. He won that one.
Won that game.
Looking for him to kind of maybe lock back in with one of those starts we saw in August when he was going through the dominant run that included the no-hitter. He will be pitching against Miles Michaelis, former Padres farmhand from long ago. Had a pretty mediocre season this year with an ERA over 5 for the St. Louis Cardinals, and a team that feels like they're on the brink of give them the nudge and push them off the cliff. Like the fans have turned on them, as we heard, kind of Jesse talking about it. I heard with Annie yesterday, Derek Gould, who covers the team, talking about just, the struggles right now in St. Louis. This is a team you want to take advantage of at the moment. You've got them kind of staggering. Go ahead, knockout punch the next 3 days. Take 3 of 4 or even all 4. And it was pointed out, Padres have now won 2 in a row with Martin Perez and Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, buddy.
They now have Dylan Cease, Joe Musgrove, and Michael King the next 3 days. Should all, give you a great chance to win any or all of these next 3 games of this series coming up. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
He's coming off his best start in Michaelis, probably his best start of the year. He pitched against the Brewers, who are really, really good. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. Benny, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Brought his ERA down to 5.19 as it sits right now. But, yeah, man, I mean, look, you look through his starts. He's 3, 4, 5 runs a game. So get to him early. You got first licks. Go get him.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to talk all about it. Annie and Elston coming up next. For Paul Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long.